Welcome, Cheesemaker fans, to another night of Cheesemakers football, brought to you by Tillamook Bay Community College, Tillamook Motors, Roby's Furniture and Appliance, SC Paving, Tillamook County Transportation District, City Sanitary Service, Dave Hollingsworth State Farm Insurance, Tillamook County Family YMCA, and Les Schwab. Now let's take it down to the field with Randy Shield.
The official. Seagulls Banks Braves. Tillamook is 1-1 in league as they beat Molalla on homecoming last weekend, but lost the opening weekend to Banks. And this is going to determine probably who's number 3 at the end of the season. And the number 3 team in the Coapa League this year probably will be hosting a playoff game in the first round of the state playoffs. So this... Mickey taught at the high school for 7 years and coached. Welcome back to Tillamook Cheesemaker Football. This is Nathan Radcliffe broadcasting from a really nice press box. I'm really glad that we are not in Scappoose tonight, where they have no covered stadiums, because it's got a drenching drizzle coming down. I wouldn't call it a rainstorm, but you stand out there for a little bit and you're going to get soaked as the Cheesemakers, ranked number 16 in the state, are going to be playing the Astoria Fishermen, ranked number 15 in the state. Astoria is 1-4 overall, as they opened up with a loss against the Scappoose Indians. They beat Staten 22-19, lost to Estacada 22-14, and then ran into the Coapa Buzzsaws. They've scored 7 points over the course of the last 2 ball games and given up 89, as Astoria lost 7-55 to Seaside and 0-34 against the Banks Braves. There's a lot of teams that are going to lose to Banks and Seaside and only put 7 points up on the board. Tillamook was able to put more than 7 up against Banks a couple weeks ago. It was an important football game. In many high. And on top of that, remember Coach Ty Johnson? He graduated in 2006 from Astoria, and his head coach was Howard Rube, who is the current head coach of Astoria. So I was down on the field talking to both Howard and Kai, and it was interesting to listen to those two gentlemen talk to each other. They have the utmost respect for each other, and the decision was the team that makes the fewest mistakes tonight is going to win. And with the wet field, the carpet's wet, the football's going to be wet. There's going to be opportunities for mistakes all over the field. And young men, teenagers, sometimes get some big eyes and big ideas about what they're going to do next, as the Cheesemakers and the Astoria Fishermen are about ready to kick it off. As we'll see. It was a great win against Molalla for the homecoming victory, as they put the ship back together after getting shellacked by Banks in the opening round. We'll be back in 1 minute, after 30 seconds for the starting lineup and more. We'll be back after this word from the Tillamook Bay Community College. Welcome back to Astoria High School. The national anthem is being sung by a single young lady who is fantastic. Our reception. Make the lineups. The Tillamook Cheesemakers are going to keep their normal starting lineup for tonight. The skill players are going to be Landon Warner, Matt Silvera, Kellen Shelley, Caleb Boomer, Chris Silvera, and Caleb Warner. Luis Macias, who has been the number 2 running back, suffered a pretty serious ankle injury last weekend, and I might discover that he can't again. Maybe I'm getting get the juice flowing for himself. And the big on the inside, Brian Rieger, Michael Horton, Aiden Johnson, the freshman, Dawson McKibben, and Perry Reeder are the offensive line for the Tillamook Cheesemakers. I had a lot of luck in figuring out why that reception is today. Starting lineup for the Astoria Fishermen when you flip it over on the other side. Starting in the line is 260-pound Josiah Hirsch, 230-pound Michael Williams, 215-pound Dylan Lagost, 210-pound Grant Rowe, and 260-pound Henry Samuelson. Quarterback, as always at the high school level, is a hideously important position, especially in bad field conditions. Well, it's not that the field is poor, it's just that the weather is not great. It's going to be a sophomore, Bo Williams, a 6', 155-pound sophomore, and we'll see if he can hold up against the defensive pressure that Tillamook's going to put on, especially considering the pounding that Astoria took over the course of the last 2 weekends, playing against the number 2 and 1 ranked teams in the state. Justin Villa, a 5'11", senior, 155 pounds as a wide receiver, along with Josh Olson, a 6'5", 195-pound senior, and Ian Hunt, a 6'6", 165-pound senior. The running backs, Pico Caruna, that one's going to be a name I'm going to struggle with, and Connor Long, 6'1", 195, and 6'3", 190. And so, Roman, as you look at this football game, how excited are the kids right now?
They're pumped up, Nate. It's going to be a great game for them, big experience for them. Like you said, many times, it's kind of a must-win situation for them. So I'm excited to see what they've got in them for tonight.
You know, and as the state playoffs kind of unfold, and I know we're talking 3 weeks out ahead of ourselves, but the reality is this is pivotal. You know, the loser of this game, if they end up in the 4th place position, there's a chance that they could travel as if they're a 3, if they're a high enough rated number 4. But that means that you're going 2 and number 2, and that's a much heavier lift for a team. And so we'll see how it goes. The kickoff is about ready to occur. Astoria is going to be kicking off, it looks like. Tillamook is going to be traveling left to right across your radio dial. Astoria always got a lot of ball players on the field. I stopped counting 26, and I had gotten to the 50-yard line as the national anthem was being sung. And so, you know, Howard has probably 50 kids out playing football. Tillamook on the other side probably has about 20 on the sidelines wearing hats. And so bring 30. It's just a program that has had a whole heck of a lot of success. Back to receive the kickoff is going to be Caleb Boomer and Chris Olvera, as the kick is scribbed around, and it's going to be dumped at the 30-yard line. It's going to roll out of bounds at the 20. And so they'll set the ball at, I believe, the 35. I don't know. I don't really know the rules of football very well. It seems like the rules are different depending upon what level of game you're going to watch. And so, Roman, this is your first time on the stats, isn't it?
It is, Nate, but I'm looking forward to the challenge and the opportunity.
There we go.
Yeah,
absolutely. As it's going to be an illegal procedure. And interesting, Tillamook is not going to take the ball. They're going to take the penalty. And so that'll back Astoria up. So they won't be kicking off at the 40. They're going to move it back to the 35, and they're going to make them kick it again. And so it was they didn't kick it deep, Astoria didn't, but they also didn't knock it around on the ground. So they tried to scope it at about the 20-yard line, sort of in no man's land, behind Kellen Shelley, but in front of Caleb Boomer, and seeing if they can get that pin deep and make the return happen on one side of the football field. My guess is Howard has looked at the tape and realizes that Tillamook likes to return to their right-hand side, and so he's trying to force them on the far side to not be able to get to their wall. So, again, approaching the football is going to be Taylor Palmberg, and the ball is going to be up, and it's going to be squared down, picked up by Boomer at the 30, 35. He's got a corner to the 40, across the 45 to midfield, and almost sneaks out the backside. Kellen Shelley was leading the charge there, so great field position for the Cheesemakers, 49-yard line. as now it's going to be sitting right at the 50. I take it back as Caleb picked the ball up at about the 25-yard line. And one of the troubles with not having the high kick is your kick return team, your tackle team, coverage team can't get downfield, right, because there's no hang time.
Not only that, the moisture the ball picks up by rolling across the turf really makes it tough for the return team to recover properly.
Does not make it easier. So Tillamook is going to come out, trips to the near side. That includes the tight ends, one back in the backfield. That's Silvera. Matt rolls out. He's looking to throw the ball. He's going to feel some pressure, flips the ball to Landon Warner, who catches it. 5-yard gain. Ball is going to be placed at 35. Matt rolled a little short roll to his right. I like the idea. Create lanes. Matt's not a super tall individual. Has thrown the ball really well in the last 3 football games, as he struggled at times in preseason to put the ball downfield where he wanted. But did a very nice job rolling out, picking up 5 as Landon caught the ball, lost his feet, fell down at the 45, bringing up second down at 5. It's going to be trips to the far side of the field. Single back in the backfield. Ball's going to be thrown to Caleb Warner. Caleb's going to fight to the line of scrimmage and going to be pushed out after a gain of about a yard, we'll say. Boy, this sure is nice, isn't it? Roman, we're sitting right on the 45-yard line, right? You got yard marks and hash marks everywhere.
Great view of the field.
Great view of the
field to be at.
So it's going to be a pickup of 1, 3rd down and 4 from the 44-yard line, just into the first quarter. So this is third play of the game, and Cheesemakers have thrown the ball twice as Caleb Warner got a flare pass from his slot position, and Landon Warner had a little down and out that he caught. So we'll see if Tillamook is going to keep the ball in the air. The snap's going to come. They're going to run option. Yep, Matt does pitch the ball to Chris. Chris is going to cut once, cut twice, hit a pile, fall forward, and I think he's going to get about a half yard more than what he needed. As the sticks are going to move, the ball is going to be placed. Well, I'm maybe speaking ahead as they have it. Yep, and they say move the sticks. So Chris Silvera and Matt, the twins, run option left as Matt took a couple steps out, started to cut upfield, but then decided that he's going to option to his brother, Chris. Chris hit the corner, pushed the pile forward. So it's going to be another set of downs. First down and 10, just inside the 40. We'll say that's at the 40. First down and 10, 10 minutes and 45 seconds left in the first quarter. So we're under 2 minutes in. First running play to Chris, off left tackle, got big hole. He's going to take Caleb Warner. Caleb is going to block out. Chris is going to cut inside across the 20 down to the 17-yard line. They're going to put that on the 16-yard line as Chris did a great job just running off left tackle, following Caleb Warner. Caleb kicked his kid outside. Chris decided he was going to run inside, ran into pressure, picked up the first down. Nice pickup by Chris Silvera as, that'd be number 30. Better call that Chris because there's 2 of them, right? And so that was a pickup at, 24 by the time it shakes out. First down and 10 from the 15-yard line, 16-yard line. High snap handled to Luis Macias. We'll see what his ankle looks like. Left tackle finds the corner, crosses inside the 10, pushes forward. Great push by Luis Macias. As I thought he was going to get pushed out of bounds, but he had, let's see, who is big, number 55? That's Dawson McKibben. Dawson was the one late now. Pickup of 8 by Luis Macias. It's going to be second down and 2 from inside the 10. Ball's resting at the 8-yard line. As Tillamook has done, had some running room. I'm a little surprised, but the ease over the top of that left tackle that Tillamook has experienced. So it's going to be a wide split in the slot to the near side. 2 backs in the backfield, so it's I backs. Caleb Warner is the up back. They're going to go to Chris. Nope, they're going to keep it to Matt. Matt's got the corner. Got blocking on the perimeter by Kellen Shelley. Touchdown, Matt Silvera. Kellen did a great job of stop blocking his defensive back. They ran Chris Silvera up the middle on a fake right over the top of the left tackle where Tillamook has been running the ball the entire drive. And Matt Silvera kept the ball. And what he needed was the defensive backs to not be able to crash down on him. Kellen did a great job of keeping contact and allowing Matt to score from the 8-yard line. So that scoring drive is going to be recorded on the scoring summary sheet. There we go. And so Tillamook scores. Matt Silvera from 8 yards out gets the touchdown, 6-0. Tanner Richardson is in, coming off his record-setting field goal attempt last weekend, 44 yards. For those of you keeping track at home, snap's good. It kicks up, but it got blocked. As coming through was a man-child. That would be Dylan Junis, a sophomore who is not listed as size I would say he's 6'8" if he's anything. Tillamook Cheesemaker score first, 6-0. We'll be back after this word from our sponsors. Welcome back. Tillamook Cheesemakers up 6-0, kicking the ball off to Astoria. Astoria kickoff returner gets to the 25-yard line and is just buried right there as Tillamook kicked the ball high and deep. Roman, that scoring drive was a nice little play, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. They got pretty much the whole team involved on that, including Macias with his ankle injury. But it's nice seeing Silvera break that big run to set up a scoring play.
Yeah, so that was 50 yards. It took 3 minutes and 40 seconds off the clock. What, 6 plays? Is that right?
6 plays.
6 plays. Chris had a really nice run. So Astoria is going to come out offensively, and they're going to be in shotgun as well with a single back, and they're going to drop back to throw the football. So the freshman flips the ball out. The sophomore flips the ball out to Villa. Villa catches the ball behind the line of scrimmage and is tackled for about a 1-yard loss. We'll say 0. So we're going to say 2nd down and 10. So Villa catches the pass for nothing. So the first pass attempt by the quarterback is caught for negative yardage, but we'll take it. So 2nd down and 11 from the 24-yard line for Astoria. So shotgun, they've got 2 splits, split in the slot each way, single back in the backfield. Motion comes. They're going to hand the ball to fly sweep action. Landon does a great job of blocking that thing down. Landon came across the field as a defensive end, forced the fly sweep action. And again, that is Villa running the football. And pickup of 5, we'll say, brings up 3rd down and 6. But Landon did a really nice job coming across, boxing in the fly sweep action, forcing it back inside, and allowing the linebackers to clean up whatever dirty action there is. Coming up on 8 minutes, Tillamook is up 6-0. Nice little 50-yard scoring drive to open up the game. Point after was blocked, so we'll see. 3rd down and 6. Tillamook's trying to get off the field to the quarterback. Quarterback's going to run. No, he options to the outside. Soft corner, he's going to push forward, and I believe he is going – they're going to mark him short as it looked like it was going to be a quarterback sneak the whole way, flip to the running back, which is Nico Karuna. And Nico got forced out by the flow 2 yards short, so that's going to be 4th down and 2. So that was a pickup of 4, I do believe, as 6 new black shirts with yellow helmets come on the field. And that typically means you're going to bring in a special team. So the punt crew is going to be coming on the field for Astoria, as Tillamook looks like, at least to the first look, that they have been able to hold defensively on Astoria's first possession. Back deep, sitting on the 40-yard line, Chris Silvera and Caleb Boomer. Boy, that's a horrible decision. Which one of those 2 kids are you going to punt to? Snap's good, fumble just a little bit, kicks off his foot. It's going to be high and fielded by Caleb. Caleb drops the football, and Astoria covers it. Just like that. Ball got kicked up, and I lay that totally at the feet of a wet ball.
Agreed. Yeah, that definitely was. It had to have been dry situations. It would have been an easy catch for him.
Well, there was a little pressure as Astoria was coming down, but I think Caleb could have easily managed that with the dry ball. Went straight through his wickets. There wasn't a chance for him to get back on the football as Astoria collects the first turnover of the football game as the first fumble, and hopefully the only, right, was lost by the Cheesemakers. And that puts the ball on the 40-yard line. So 40 yards from tying and possibly taking the lead, Astoria sees if they have the opportunity to put points on the board. 7.5 minutes left in the first quarter. Tillamook Cheesemakers are up 6 as they struck first, but the turnover, we'll see if the muff punt does anything. Hand off to Karuna. Karuna's cutbacks at the 35, pushes ahead to the 30 to the 29-yard line as he's going to pick up 11. Running the football is, Karuna, a 6'1", 195-pound senior, and that is going to be enough to move the chains as the officials move it forward. So that was, again, off right tackle. Nothing big, but the defensive end on the far side got pushed down, and Karuna picks up 11 in the first down, maybe 10 in the first down. So 1st down and 10 from the 30. Cheesemakers are up 6, right? Scored first. That's always good. Going to run the same exact play with not quite the same effect, but it's going to be a pickup of 5. It's pushing forward. Karuna goes to the 25-yard line and met somebody pretty much dead on. I don't know, Tommy Cruz possibly. Looks like he's walking around just making certain that his hands are still connected to his elbows because he has to look to see because he can't feel them right now because that was a pretty good collision. 2nd down and 5. Ball sits on the 25-yard line. Rube is about 3-4 4 or 5 yards on the field, talking to his quarterback, who comes about halfway over to talk to Coach. Beautiful, beautiful setting right here. We'll talk about this with the baseball coach here in a little bit at halftime. So they're going to run it off right tackle. Jumping through is a linebacker. Karuna falls forward to the 20-yard line. And jumping through there for the Cheesemakers is Cameron Buffin. And Cameron is a new transfer in. He came in from Fresno, I do believe, and had the running back dialed to right, just slid off him, and was sort of in disbelief as Karuna picked up the 5 yards for the first down, as multiple first downs have been tacked on by Astoria. As you think about what the last 3 plays have done, if they've picked up 2. Actually, it's not a first down. I take it back. They're short. It's 3rd down and 1. 4-down territory, sack of the quarterback, outside the 25-yard line, as Tommy Cruz knifes through and finds Bo Williams, and Bo goes down because Bo knew Tommy, and Tommy knew Bo. Huge loss for the Astoria Fishermen, so it's going to mark it back only 2 yards. Boy, it sure did feel like that play was more than a 2-yard loss. So that's going to be 4th down and 3 as Astoria is going for it. They don't have the place kicker that Tillamook has, and I don't know, this early in the game, I don't know if you're kicking a field goal on wet turf at 4th down and 3. It's a tough decision. So single back in the backfield, Williams the quarterback, Karuna is the running back. They're going to throw the football. Interestingly enough, lots of pressure coming. Pass complete, first down, Astoria Fishermen. As catching the ball out there with Ian Hunt, 6'6", 165-pound senior, as he comes from pretty good athletic parents, as he picks up the first down via the pass. I'm a little surprised on 4th down and 4 that they were going to throw the ball. Williams got really good pressure, again, from Tommy Cruz, who has been a wonderful addition to the football program, but the sophomore stood in tall, threw the ball to even taller Ian Hunt for the first down. First down and 10, 17-yard line. Coming up on 4 minutes is they're going to run the ball to Karuna. Karuna has to jump inside the defensive end and clean it up as Cameron Buffin, as he came from linebacker position. Maybe a defensive tackle popped up off the ball. The defensive end on that far side, I need to get a number on him because he did a fantastic job of coming across and boxing in the running back, Karuna. No gain on the play. It's going to be 2nd down and 10. As really good, solid play. And I heard Cameron is a pretty good ball player and flows well to the football. He's playing a linebacker position. Nope, he steps up to end. 2 backs in the backfield. They're going to hand to the second back. As interesting, Karuna totally stopped in the hole. He came in. The slot was to his right. That's where the running lane was, and he totally stopped dead in his tracks and then tried to pick up the momentum and got a short gain, pick up, let's say, 3 on it. So it's going to be 3rd down and 7. From the 13-yard line. Just coming up on 3 minutes in a really fast-moving first quarter. The Tillamook got a possession, scored on their opening possession, held Astoria on downs, and then the punt by Caleb Boomer, fell through his feet, landed on the 40-yard line, and Astoria is trying to convert a 3rd down and 7 inside the 15 at the 13-yard line. Single back in the backfield. They're going to run option. As a little shovel pass inside that's going to go as a pass to, I believe that was Hutchinson, maybe Villa. Yeah, it was Villa running a little under route and option to him. It's a forward pass, and that's going to be good enough for the first down as the ball is going to be placed at the 6-yard line. So it looked like option going left the whole way, and coming in underneath the play was Villa. A really super safe play, right? Because you flip that ball, what's the worst thing that's going to happen? Yeah, right. That was a really smart play right there. Let's hope our Cheesemakers here can D up in the red zone here. Yeah, there we go. So it's going to be inside the 10, right at the 6-yard line. First down and goal from there. 2 backs in the backfield. It's going to be split back action. They're going to hand to the right back, and that's Karuna. Fighting to the corner. We'll see what kind of speed he has. Oh, he's going to reverse field. He's losing ground. He's getting to the 20, but there's going to be a flag down as he gets back to the original line of scrimmage. He ran about a quarter mile to get back to the line of scrimmage, but in a situation like that, it's really hard for offense to not block in the back or hold as he reversed his field. And there's a flag sitting on the 4-yard line. And the white hat is talking to the back judge right now, and we'll see what the call is. My guess is it's going to be holding against Astoria. As Karuna went to his right, did not like the corner, did not like trying to get in underneath the end and decided that he was going to reverse field, and it ended up losing probably, I will say, they're going to wave the flag off. That's interesting. Probably gave about 8 yards of ground up and then turned and decided to stick his nose back into the hole and ended up only losing about 2 as its second and goal from the 9-yard line. Tillamook had that for about an 8-yard loss, but Corunna was able to salvage 6 of those -8. Second down and goal from the 9-yard line. Motion comes in underneath. Corunna's the single back in the backfield. They're going to go quarterback draw. Totally sniffed out, but Messiah, down he goes. Williams gets a loss of about 3-4 yards. That's great job knifing in. There was a lot of pressure there. It was supposed to be quarterback draw to the left, and there was way too much penetration by the Cheesemakers for Astoria to do anything about it. And you hear that beeping sound, Roman? That's Astoria got it stuck in reverse, baby. They were first and goal on the 6, and now they're third and goal from the 13-yard line, the 12-yard line, as Tillamook's defense has played fantastically well considering the game situation that they're facing.
Really,
and I believe
their momentum right.
Yep, Bruce's going to take a timeout. We're going to take a timeout, too. 58 seconds left in the first quarter. Tillamook Cheesemakers are up 6-0. We'll be back in 60 seconds. Welcome back to Astoria. Nathan Radcliffe and Roman Ballin, your broadcast crew. I think Randy is someplace in Wyoming fishing right now. I hope it's raining on him. Actually, yeah, no, I do, actually, now that I think about it. The rain continues to fall. Tillamook Cheesemakers are up 6-0. Inside a minute left in the first quarter, as Tillamook has done a great job in first down and goal at the 6-yard line, which was set up by the muff punt, and they've driven Astoria back. So now it's third and goal from the 12, as Astoria called a timeout just to see what they could think about. Right here, so they got trips to the far side of the field, single back in the backfield. They're going to pump and go right there as they got a wide receiver to open in the corner. It's going to be a jump ball, incomplete pass. As going up to defend that, I believe, is Caleb Boomer. Nope, that is going to be one of the 14 Warners that we have on the team. That's Chad Warner going up from a free safety position. It was a little roll and go. Quarterback rolled his shoulders, trying to get a defensive back to jump and then throw to the end zone, the back of the end zone. And Caleb did a really nice job of free safety of not fighting for it. So Astoria does have a place kicker. Coming in is Taylor Palmberg, the 5'8", 170-pound senior, and he's going to try a 29-yard, 28-yard field goal as the ball is going to be set down on the 18-yard line. The snap's down, the kick is up, and it is going to be good from the 18 to 28-yard field goal. Makes the score 6-3. 43 seconds left in the first period. We'll be back after this word from our sponsors. Welcome back. Astoria Fishermen cut the lead in half as the field goal from 28 is good. And Tillamook's lead is cut 6-3 as Astoria got points from the turnover that Cheesemakers had. Still impressed with the ability of the defense to make the play when they needed to make the play, as Palmberg is now back to kick off, and we'll see if they dump the ball in the same spot. Nope, they're going to kick it high and short. Ball's going to bounce, picked up by Silvera at the 20, 25, 30. He's got blockers ahead of him, 40, 45, 50. Cuts back, jumps back to the 50, to the 45, to the 43, to the 40, to the 39, to the 38. And it's going to be there. We're going to mark it at the 39 as Astoria still did not get their coverage team downfield quick enough. And Chris Silvera was able to scoop the ball at about the 22-yard line and return it to the 39 as a great field position for the Cheesemakers. They were at the 50 on their first drive. They're on the 39 on the second drive. We'll see if Tillamook has the ability to offensively run the ball over left tackle like they did in the first drive. Going to be split and slot to the far side. Kellen Shelley. Nope, Caleb Boomer is going to come to the near side. Two backs in the backfield. Caleb Warner is about 2 yards behind the football. Chris Silvera, Luis Macias, I'm going to say, it is Macias. He's going to take the ball off left tackle and not quite as much running room as in the first drive. Luis is going to pick up 3, but what I like is Luis came in, had a nice little run the first possession, and his ankle feels good enough to run the second possession. What does that tell you, Roman?
Yeah, Messia's got 12 yards rushing already on just 2 carries, so averaging 6 yards per carry is not bad for a guy with a broken wheel.
Yeah, so what does that tell you about the wheel?
It looks good to me.
It looks good to me. That's going to end the first quarter of play as the Tillamook Cheesemakers are up 6-3 in a hugely important Kawapa League football game. Tillamook got to be happy with what they got. We'll be back in 60 seconds after this word from our sponsors. Welcome back to the second quarter football. Nathan Radcliffe and Roman Ballin, your broadcast crew, as Tillamook is about ready to start play, but there's something the White Hat doesn't like. Tillamook Cheesemakers are up 6-3 into the first quarter and looking at 2nd down and 7 from the 36-yard line. Ball's going to be in the air to Caleb Boomer. I love the idea of getting Boomer involved. He's going to push across the 35 down to the 31-yard line as he's just tough as nails. The blocking by Shelley and Caleb Warner, wasn't fantastic, but Caleb Boomer was able to hit the hole hard enough, the gap, to drive the pile forward. That's going to be a pickup of 6, 3rd down and 1. So that's a great outcome on 2nd and 7 to be able to pick up 6 on a super safe play. Matt has thrown the ball twice, completed both of them. Actually, the first pass was for 5 yards, right? Because Landon Warner, caught that for 5. So a single back in the backfield. It's going to be Chris Silvera this time. Split the slot each side. Classic run and shoot. Long snap count. Ball's going to be handed to Chris. Chris jumps a little bit to the left. He's going to pick up the first down and roll back, but it's not how far you roll back. It's where your forward motion stops, and it's going to be good enough for the first down. It'll be a pickup of 3 for Chris Silvera. First down and 10 from the 28-yard line. God, I tell you, it's so nice to have hash marks and yard markers everywhere on this field. You totally get jealous. Because we went to Mac High, which was like in Idaho, right? Not quite, but you might as well be. And they had little foam markers for the 10-yard markers on the other side of the field. And that was it. Yeah, so just making stuff up there, which is no different than normal, but it felt different. 2 backs in the backfield. Boomer comes in motion. They're going to hand to Chris Silvera. Chris has to jump 1, jump 2. He's pushing to the outside, pick up a 7, and that's where the party's going to stop. As Chris did a really nice job getting in underneath the defensive end. The defensive end did his job, and that's to force the running play back inside. But Chris is just cat-like quick, picked up 6 right there, 2nd down and 4, was able to get inside the defensive end, but then get to the outside of the linebackers, which that's a nifty little trick right there, to be able to get to the edge against the linebackers, but still be able to play inside the defensive end. 6-3, Tillamook Cheesemakers up a 3-point lead, just under 10 minutes left in the second quarter. And the number 15 and 16 ranked teams in the state in the first quarter looks pretty evenly matched. When we get to the stats, Roman, my guess is the numbers don't lie.
You're right on that, Nate. I mean, this is going to be a highly competitive game all 4 quarters.
Draw to Chris Silvera. Chris gets inside the 20 down to about the 16-yard line, and that draw was slow enough to actually work. Tillamook tried to run the draw last week, and they couldn't because it was too quick, and the defense didn't have time to react to what they thought was a pass play, which was really a run play, and Tillamook slowed it down just a half a count, and that draw was very successful, putting the ball on the 16-yard line. Pickup of, I don't know, where was it? Pickup of 5. Thank you, Roman. Roman's got his head down, madly sweating, trying to keep stats. You think with like 30 seconds between plays you should be able to keep up, but it's harder than it looks.
Definitely is, yeah.
Yeah, and I make it look pretty hard. Boomer on the fly sweep, lauded defensive penetration. Boomer's got to shed 1, shed 2, fight through 3, and dive forward and still lose the yard. So the sworn enemy to the fly sweep is defensive penetration by the play side defensive lineman, and that's exactly what Astoria had, as Caleb had to fight pretty hard to lose 3. 2nd down and 13 from the 19-yard line. So the first down mark is at the 6 or the 7, as Tillamook has the opportunity to get a first down without a touchdown. But they made their job a little harder right now with the loss of 3 by the Cheesemakers. Astoria has a defensive tackle that's 370. He's listed at 6'7", 370 pounds. And he stretches the 7 and the 8 on his jersey a long way apart. 3 trips to the far side. They're going to run the same draw to Luis. Penetration from the linebacker. Down goes Luis. That's coming free was Fallon Coley, 5'8", 200-pound senior, blitzing, and blitzed right into that draw. And was not fooled because he was coming hard, met Luis. Luis goes down for another 3-yard loss, so it's going to be 3rd down and 16 from the 22-yard line as Macias ends up losing 3 on that. That'll eat into his average, doesn't it, right?
Yeah, that does hurt his average.
It does hurt his average.
Pretty strong.
Yeah, no, he's looking good. I didn't know what kind of lateral motion he was going to have. You know, he's quick, and his straight line action is one thing, but that ankle really hurts when you start to cut left and right. And I haven't seen any issues with his cut left. We're having a hard time with the connectors between the cell phone and the headset, so we'll see. We'll try to do this by cell phone for a little bit. As the Tillamook Cheesemakers had a pretty good situation on their last possession, but ended up with third and 16 from about the 19-yard line. Couldn't convert, turned the ball over on downs. Astoria is now on the 23-yard line, 3rd down and 3, we'll say. Single back in the backfield. That's going to be handed off to the running back as he's stepping through the hole is Taruna, and he has enough for the 1st down. As Astoria has a little hop in their step right now from the defense. It's interesting how football turns so quickly and ends up momentum wearing black right now when it looked like Tillamook was in a pretty good position. 1st down and 10 from the 30-yard line. Cheesemakers are up 6-3. 5.5 minutes left, 5 minutes and 20 seconds left in the first half. And the Cheesemakers are in a position where they got to start making some defensive plays. And we'll see how it goes there. Trips to the top of the formation. Running the ball past Messiah is Long. Long's going to get pushed out of bounds outside the 40, down to the 45, to the 47-yard line as Long carried the ball for the first time, I do believe. And Messiah had him in the backfield but couldn't quite get his head around and his arms wrapped as Long ends up picking up the 1st down and running for 17 yards. 1st down and 10 from the 46-yard line. Tillamook's up 6-3 and playing well, but got to be able to make the defensive plays as it's just a steady miss on a turf field. So the field is going to hold up very well, but it's the ball, and it's the wet ball that you got to worry about. Caleb Warner on the blitz runs past the line to running back Long, and Long is going to fall forward for 6 yards. Tackling there, Landon Warner, as Caleb Warner came on his blitz and overran the play as Long ran by him, as Caleb was running by him, and it didn't turn out well. So 2nd down and 4 for the Astoria Fishermen, 47-yard line. 4 minutes left, 4:10 left. Split backs in the backfield. Going to hand to the right back. That's going to be Long, following his lead block into the secondary, across the 40, down to the 37-yard line before Tommy Cruz and Caleb Boomer can make the tackle. Another 1st down, 37-yard line. As Long has done a really nice job running the football here because he didn't touch the ball in the 1st quarter, but in the 2nd quarter here on this possession, he's been a go-to back. As the split backs in the backfield, the 2 backs in the backfield have really been a good formation for Astoria because it gives a lead block for their feature back. It's going to be the same thing as carrying the ball by Long up over the top of the left tackle, flag down on the play in the pocket of an offensive lineman. But running play goes down to the 28-yard line, but the clock is going to stop as the officials are going to have a discussion, and it is going to be holding against Astoria, and that'll be marked 10 yards from the spot of the foul. The hold looked like it was maybe a yard behind the line of scrimmage at the 39. And so they'll mark that back, and if everything works out the way it should, ball will be placed at the 49. So we're going to try here in a second to see if we can get a better connection with our equipment, because calling a game on a cell phone is not a whole heck of a lot of fun. So I'm going to flip back over to the headset here and let me know back from the radio station if the sound quality is still poor. All right, that was a loud and clear no. I hear you. So we're gonna end the first half. We're gonna go this first half on the phone, and then we might just try to reconnect during halftime. Tillamook Cheesemakers got the holding penalty. It's going to be first down and 20 from the 49-yard line as Astoria's got themselves in a deep spot. They're going to throw the ball deep. Oh, no. Hunt gets past Kellen Shelley and ends up catching the ball down to the 15-yard line as Kellen stopped and took a peek back into the backfield to see what was going on. And the problem is that Ian Hunt didn't stop. He kept running. It's going to be a pickup of enough to get a first down as the ball is going to be placed on the 15-yard line and the clock's going to 16-yard line. And the clock's going to run. Really nicely thrown ball by Bo Williams. I'm impressed with the sophomore's ability to throw the ball downfield with some accuracy and touch at the same time as Kellen took a peek in the backfield and Hunt ran right by him. First down and 10 from the 16-yard line as Astoria is looking to put points on the board. It's going to be the long off left tackle. Big hole, cuts inside the linebacker. Met some resistance at the 11 and is going to fall sideways from there, but that's still going to be a pickup of 5 as there's some softness there over the top of the left side of the offensive line. Kicked the defensive end out, sealed the tackle down, and there was a big gap right there, and it took linebackers slow and hard, pushing sideways. Pickup of 5 by Long as he has had multiple yards, 27, here just in this quarter, as he has been a very effective runner. Split backs in the backfield again. Williams gets the snap, hands to Long, pops to the outside. Better job on the defensive end position. Slow and hard is Chris O'Bara. Jumping forward to the to the line of scrimmage is Long. It's going to be a loss. No, it's going to be a gain of about 2 as the defensive end on the near side has up to 59 yards for Taruna, Minute 26 on the clock, which is now stopped, and I think it was stopped for a helmet issue. Zeke Kuhn comes in. Very nice drive by the Astoria Fishermen as they've had really good success running the football. And, again, the clock is going to stop as Greg Warner, defensive coach, wants to talk about what's going on, and we're going to keep it right here as well as Roman has been working on the stats feverishly over there, and let's talk first quarter stats. So let's go back to there, and I'm going to hand the phone off, and you can take it from here.
So for the first quarter, Tillamook had 6 carries for 44 yards, 1 completion, 1 passing attempt, 1 completion for a total of 5 yards. So a total of 49 yards the first quarter, whereas Astoria had 28 yards on 7 carries, were 2 for 2 in their passing game for a total of 10 yards. Total offense has accrued 38 yards so far this game.
Well, it'll be interesting to see, Roman, what happens in the second quarter when we get those numbers mixed into the mix, because it feels like Astoria has got a little bit of control of the football game right now. Like momentum is wearing black and purple. And it all started, I think, with the defensive stop that they were able to have in deep in their own territory and turn the ball over on downs. And from there, I've had success driving the length of the field because this drive started on the, 15-yard line? And I've just really methodically pushed the ball all the way down to the 8, inside the 10, to the 8-yard line. It's going to be 3rd down and 2, 4-down situation, single back in the backfield this time as they're going to run option. Quarterback Bo Williams dives to the end zone. He's going to be just a little short as linebacker Flo was not there. No penetration by the defensive line, and it was the safeties, Scott Warner and Caleb Boomer, as a cornerback, had to come up and make the play. So it's going to be 1st and goal with 1:15 left after the clock running. It's inside the 1. It's on about the 6-inch line as diving for the end zone was Williams and came up just a sniff short. And this is tough sledding right here for the defense as anything Astoria wants to do except run a 30-yard go is going to be in play. There's a little confusion in Astoria, and we're going to have to take a timeout. And pretty wise timeout right there. That's not something that you want to blow up on 1st and goal inside the 1. And you want to make certain everybody's on the same page because they weren't. There's a lot of people looking left and right, and that's not where the offensive coordinator wants to be on first and goal. 52 seconds left, and I don't think the clock is going to play a role unless there's a penalty that puts Astoria in a position where they're going to have to run more than one play. And I believe it's homecoming tonight here, and so we're going to see what Astoria does for homecoming. We know what Tillamook does for homecoming, but we'll see what Astoria does. And that means, wonderful things like extended halftime and all that wonderful stuff. It also means that Astoria thinks that they can beat Tillamook. You don't schedule a team that's better than you unless you can't find a team that you're competitive against for homecoming. And so that's a little bit of a slap in the face as the Cheesemakers, did the same thing to Bilal, I guess, last weekend, right? If it's good for the goose, it's going to be good for the gander. As this is a very competitive, well-fought football game, and it's going to come down to the next 52 seconds to decide if Astoria or Tillamook is going to have the lead at the halfway mark. First and goal from the 6-inch line. Split back to the backfield, shotgun set. It's crazy that they're still in shotgun. Nope, they're up underneath quarter. This is quarterback sneak. Williams tucks it behind the hall and puts points on the board right there. There's nothing tricky as Williams goes up under center. There were 3 backs in the backfield, and so that's why it looks to me like they were still in shotgun. Williams snuck in up under center, took the ball, followed the Hogs in, and got the touchdown. 9-6, 48 seconds left in the second quarter, and going to be trying the extra point is Palmberg. But Tillamook is a little frustrated with how the second quarter has gone. The kick's up, and it's good. It's going to be 10-6 Astoria when we come back from the 60-second timeout. Welcome back to Astoria High School. Tillamook Cheesemakers give up the lead, 10-6. Astoria is up. Scoring drive, Roman. What do we got there?
Well, they scored 48 seconds left in the quarter. Williams got on a quarterback heave, just a 1-yard rush for the score. The total drive went for 85 yards on 10 plays with a big play, being a 24-yard pass for Williams to Hunt.
There we go, 10 plays, man. That was just a grinder is what that was. The Palmberg's back to kick off, and it's going to be again Silvera and Boomer deep, and it's going to be kicked on the ground, picked up at the 21-yard line by Caleb Boomer. Caleb trying to get to his wall on the far side, and he's not going to get there. He's going to be taken down at the 25-yard line. 42 seconds left in the quarter as looks like we maybe have our technical glitch fixed for right now. The Gremlins live in this odd assortment of wires and cables, and we haven't seen one for a while, but it showed up last weekend, and it showed up again. So hopefully, knock on, something, that we're able to keep our connection. 42 seconds left. I think Tillamook has one timeout. I'm not so certain they're going to be super excited about trying to do something extravagant to put points on the board, and they are. They're going to just hand the ball to Chris Silvera. Chris has breakaway speed, but it's not going to happen here. Across the 30, almost to the 35. We're going to mark him at the 34 and pick up of 8, and the clock's going to wind, so we're at under 30 seconds. So I think you're probably going to want to give Chris a chance to make a play here, but the reality is you're not going to do something that's going to attempt a turnover, and it's going to be Silvera off right tackle. And he is going to fall forward for the first down. It's going to stop the clock to move the chains as he picked up 3. And that's going to be first down and 10 from the 38-yard line. 11 seconds left, and they're going to wind the clock as soon as the chains are set. The ball is marked. Everything's set. Everything's good to go. And the clock's going to wind. Cheesemakers are going to end the quarter down 10-6, and that's not going to be where they want to be. It's Matt Silvera trying to run the football. He is whipsawed down. They're going to not blow that play dead until the clock runs out as the ball scores back to the 25-yard line. And the Astoria Fishermen play a fantastic second quarter, as good as Tillamook's first quarter, only maybe 4 points better, and find themselves up 10-6 going into halftime. As, again, we alluded to in the pregame that this is an absolutely monumental football game for both teams. And it's going to be homecoming as, oh my goodness, but 20 minutes on the clock plus 3, so it'll be a 23-minute halftime, Roman. Make sure you get your singing voice warmed up, Cowboy, because we're going to need some entertainment, as I'm only good for so much. As Cheesemakers have gone off to the locker room on the far side. That's across the ball field and across part of a baseball field. and into the locker rooms. Astoria has their own locker rooms on the other side of that outbuilding. And going to see what happens in the second half. As Tillamook felt pretty good about the first quarter, not so good about the second quarter. We'll be back with stats and more after this word from our sponsors. Welcome back to Astoria. As the Astoria Fishermen are recognizing a state championship football team over the Banks Braves. I don't know what year they're referring to. No, I don't know. I wish I would have been listening, but I don't know. It's the Tillamook Cheesemakers are 10-6 down against the Astoria Fishermen. Remember, this is the number 15 and 16 ranked teams in the state, as the Quappa have 4 of the top 16 teams in the state between Seaside, Banks, Astoria, and Tillamook. And Tillamook scored first, 9 minutes and 21 seconds left in the first quarter. Matt Silvera ran the ball from 8 yards out. And a really, I won't say easy offensive drive, but there's a lot of room on that first drive, wasn't there, Roman?
There was, but since then it's been rough sledding for our boys. I mean, Astoria's really stepped up their defense since that first drive of the game.
But maybe the anomaly, right? And so hopefully it isn't. It was 50 yards on 6 plays, 3 minutes and 40 seconds is what it took. And that big play was a 24-yard rush by Chris Silvera to get them down inside the 10-yard line and allowed Matt to score the touchdown. It was about 9 minutes later, 43 seconds left in the first quarter, when Palmberg knocked in his 28-yard field goal and made it 6-3. That was a 10-play, 36-yard drive. And so if you look at the second drive, you'll notice a commonality, a lot of plays that Astoria is running. It was a muff punt that set up the drive and for Astoria. And just an unfortunate turn of events for Caleb, as he wasn't able to control that football. And then, again, deep into the second quarter, right? Astoria had only one possession the entire second quarter, I do believe. And that was another 10-play, 85-yard drive. And Tillamook was in a pretty good place on a holding penalty. It was first down and 20. The ball was sitting on about the 40-yard line. And big deep pass to their wide receiver of preference, Ian Hunt, and picked up 24 yards on the first down. That set up Williams, the quarterback, on a quarterback sneak from 1 yard out, and makes the score 6-10 as the Cheesemakers are down by 4 points to the Astoria Fishermen. We'll have stats and more after this word from our sponsors. Welcome back to Astoria High School. Nathan Reitzel along with Roman Bowling, your broadcast crew, as the Tillamook Cheesemakers are in a little bit of a dogfight right here with Astoria down 10-6 at halftime. And Astoria has, probably 13, 14 ball players from a state championship football team out, and they have jerseys of the correct number for every one of these young men as they, I don't know if they're young. How old are they? Give me close.
They got to be early to mid-20s by now.
Yeah, mid-20s. We'll say 27, 28, 29, as they're recognizing a state championship football team that did not play at this level on this level of turf, did they?
No. This facility's been upgraded by exponential.
Absolutely. As if you remember, the old football field was sort of in the middle of town next to the hospital. It made it pretty easy when you had an injury. All you had to do was just wheel them across the parking lot. You had them in the emergency room. But the hospital really wanted that land. They wanted to expand the hospital. Astoria really wanted a better place to put a facility because it was pretty decrepit. And the city or the county had a old landfill out here alongside the bay that they wanted to rehabilitate. And so a bunch of money traded hands. And I think the hospital put up most of it because they bought the land from the school district, and then that money was used to rehabilitate and install softball field, baseball field, football field, locker rooms, hitting facilities, soccer pitch out here in just a wonderful spot, just a little east of town. As there aren't many facilities like this at the 4A level. Roman, you've got the stats, and do they play out as greatly differentiated between first quarter and second quarter as we thought?
As far as the running game goes, they're actually pretty even between the two-star running backs. Silvera has 57 yards on the ground compared to Karuna's 59. What really was the difference maker in the second quarter was Long. He came out of nowhere to pick up 27 yards on the ground.
Yeah, and that really helps as you've got that second back, and that's what Luis Macias hasn't been able to do. But what Tillamook hasn't been able to do is maintain a multiple play possession football, as they have turned the ball over before they can get any types of sustained drives. As Astoria rips off 10-play drives, Tillamook is turning the ball over after 3 or 4.
Yeah, that second quarter was a real cooler. It seemed like the Fishermen had the ball for the entire quarter. So, I mean, Tillamook unable to, hopefully they come out of the locker room and replicate what Astoria did take in.
91 yards of rushing in the first half, 125 yards overall for Astoria. You look at the other side, it's only 54 yards, right?
Yeah, we took a couple losses there in the second quarter that really hurt us for the overall yardage total.
Yeah, but that's the kind of stuff that you absolutely cannot have. And those negative plays at this level of football are really, really, really difficult to overcome.
They really are, yeah. I mean, especially with weather like this, it's really hard to get your passing game going. So when you have the opportunity to run the ball, you got to make sure you hit your holes and take advantage every week.
Right, and you can't have that holding call that's going to put you back, right?
Exactly.
You know, and that's what Astoria was able to do, is they were able to overcome that holding call with that pass downfield to Hunt, right? So all the Astoria fishermen that were available have been come out and given jerseys. I believe it's the only undefeated football team in the history of Astoria, and it's awesome to be able to recognize those men. And I noticed 3 coaches that were part of that program now go back to halftime. You know, head coach and 2 other assistants. And so that tells you that you've got continuity in the program. You've got people that are sticking with the program over the long haul, and that absolutely creates a culture and an environment that kids want to play in. And that's exactly what Kai Johnson's trying to do. This is his 4th year in the program, and he's trying to create that sustainability, the cohesiveness within the coaching staff to be able to move a program to the next level. This is the best football team that he's had in his 4 years, the best program that he's taken up here to Astoria. We'll see if it continues to grow. That's the plan. You know, if any coach wants to be able to do it, to grow a program and keep it moving forward. And so, Roman, you come to us. Give us a brief history. You're first-year teacher to Tillamook. Give us a little understanding of how you find yourself here in Tillamook in your current position.
Oh, I'm the new PE and health teacher here at Tillamook High School. I come up this way with a strong history of baseball experience. For the last 4 years, I've been coaching at Verizon Christian at the 3A class level. Last year, we were actually in the state title game, but I've coached all kinds of levels, from 5-year-old T-ball up to high school varsity. But I've never really had a, losing season, so I'm hoping to bring at least my personal history of success to Tillamook and get us back on a winning track.
And so, not that you have a timeline, but what's the order of events? Like, what's the order of operations? What does it take to take a program that hasn't had the stability, it hasn't had the consistency? We've gone through multiple coaches over the course of the last, I'll say 20 years or so since Randy left the program. It's been in a little bit of a state of a flux. So what's the order of operations? I'm not talking about a timeline, but the number one thing that you got to do before you can do anything else is?
Number one thing you got to do is get your kids to trust you, buy into the new program, and know that they are better than they've been performing. I mean, I look at the team we have. It's the most athletic group of gentlemen I've been around so far in my 4 years of coaching high school baseball. So kind of letting them do their thing, letting them play the game of baseball rather than dictating them what to do, and letting them be themselves on the field is a big part of it.
So how does that trust develop, right? Because that's really super easy to say, right? It just rolled out of your mouth, right? But then when you actually go to implement that or have it manifest itself in a group of teenagers, how do you start that process of building trust?
Well, the thing about baseball is that nobody knows everything about the game. Even Ted Williams said it's amazing how much you learn about, or you still have to learn about the game you've been playing your whole life. So there's things I can still learn from even freshmen and sophomores about the game, about high school baseball that I still don't know. And obviously there's things they can still learn from me. And learning from each other builds that trust between us and hopefully build a positive team atmosphere.
So where are you in the process of putting a program together? Like you had a team meeting at lunch today, correct?
Yeah, we did. We got about 30 kids in the meeting. They are really, really hungry for change and success. So I'm really excited to start working with these gentlemen.
And a good cross-section of ages?
Yeah, definitely. There's not one class that's dominating the numbers. We're spread pretty evenly across all 4 years.
Well, that's super exciting because baseball is one of those sports where you can find success, and you don't have to be this physical specimen, right? You don't have to be 6'4", 210 for you to be successful out on the baseball field. Now, it doesn't hurt to be 6'4", 210, but it doesn't have to be that way. And you got room for everybody. And so it's a really super inclusive activity. And so I'm hoping, Roman, that you have the opportunity to come in and establish some consistency, get good assistant coaching, work on the youth program, get that feeder program put together, and so have baseball be something that kids want to do at Tillamook High School.
That's definitely part of the plan, to get involved with the younger kids, have them out, with clinics with the varsity guys, learning what they can from the guys that they hope to become someday.
Astoria has just recognized the class of 2021, I'm going to say, as being homecoming royalty. They have cardboard boxes, and inside the boxes are purple balloons and 3 of them, and gold balloons in 1 of them, and they opened up the boxes, and that gold balloon didn't really want to go up. It's a little cold and a little wet for helium to work out here. That's how heavy the air is. But the homecoming king and queen, I believe, have been identified, unless I totally misread the situation. We'll be back to discuss your first impressions of the high school and the community of Tillamook after this word from our sponsors. That is. Welcome back as the Astoria Rain beats helium balloons. All of them have failed. It is raining helium balloons. I don't think I've ever seen this. This is awesome. There was one football game at Tillamook where the cheerleaders had put together a big poster, and then the football team ran through it, and the balloons went up, and then they came back down, and the PA announcer told the 4th and 5th graders, "Hey, go get those balloons." And, man, it was just a mass migration down there to the west end of the football field as those kids had free range. And so how many are there? Are there 15 balloons? There's got to be. Mylar, helium-filled balloons that are laying on the field somewhere between the 15 and the 45-yard line. That is awesome. As the temperature just dropped and the balloons just didn't quite have the lift. I thought they'd made it because they went up above the grandstand stage, and then they just started to rain helium balloons. It seemed like a good idea at the time, right? Hey, I got this idea. Here's what we can do. And all you have to do is put helium balloons in a box, and when they open them up, they're going to go up, and then you're like, yeah, how did that go? So we have a couple of Astoria kids out picking up balloons. So, Roman, you don't come to us fresh out of college. You're not a 22, 23-year-old kid that's wet behind his ears. You've had some life experiences. What are your impressions on Tillamook and the culture at the high school and the community as a whole?
I'm just really surprised at how supportive everybody is and how friendly the entire community is. Every single person here I've talked to wants to help you, whether it be finding a house, whether it help you with the
Oh, isn't that
program.
fun? Isn't that fun finding a house? Isn't that fun around here?
It's a tough market. We had to jump on the first house we could find, but
there we go. So I interrupted you.
Oh, no, you're fine. But everybody's just insanely supportive, whether it's that people wanting to get involved with the baseball program, like I said, helping me find a house, the teachers, even the students. It's a great collection of students we have over at THS.
Yeah, it is. It's interesting, and I don't know much about it. And, it's not that I don't know about the high school. I can't compare it to anything because I've never taught at a different high school. I went to a different high school, but that was back in a different century, right? And things are different, and I don't know anything else. And so it's always interesting to hear a different perspective and from somebody who isn't who has the ability to compare. And it's awesome to hear that.
Yeah, it's amazing coming from, just outside of Portland, which is chock full of 6-8 schools, and coming down here, just the cohesiveness of the kids, how they're always picking each other up. They're, generally being friendly and have good positive relationships with each other. It's really refreshing to see from, the Portland metro perspective.
Yeah, because on our write-up, you talked about how when you were doing your student teaching last year, you really wanted to get into a big school, right? You requested a bunch of 6-8 schools, and you ended up where?
I ended up at North Marion High School, and it was like the best thing that could have happened. I fell in love instantly, and again, like you guys know, it's a 4A class. So, having the pleasure to teach these people more than once a day, rather than just once in a trimester and never see them again over 4 years is a really nice thing to be a part of.
Yeah, you get in those big schools, and it's like factory education. You've got a couple thousand kids that you're pumping through a system. And it's a pretty impersonal type relationship, and that's not the case when you get into a school of 500, 600 kids, which is also still big enough to have the opportunities, right? So kids have the chance to do stuff. You get too small and you get super intimate and you lose the opportunities, right? Because you only got, the high school I graduated from now has, 65 kids in it. And so the opportunities there with only 65 students, you don't have any type of economy of scale at all. And so it's super intimate with not a lot of differentiation and different levels to operate on. And I think Tillamook and North Marion are in the sweet spot because they have the intimacy of the small school, but they've got some of the opportunities that the larger school can put together. We got 3 minutes left in halftime, and we have huge news. This is super exciting. I had one of the best nights that I've had in a long time Tuesday watching girls soccer. The girls soccer program has worked so hard. It's been in existence for 13 years. And this is a program that has struggled mightily. And we talk about consistency and we talk about building culture. It has been a challenge to build culture of soccer within the girls program at Tillamook High School. And it's getting there. They got the first league win. They were able to beat Seaside 1-0 at home on Tuesday, and I was able to sit and watch the entire soccer game. And I tell you, Roman, I couldn't be more proud of those girls. Imagine how hard it is to show up every single day for 4 years and lose and lose and lose and lose. Tillamook has never won a league game. They had a tie last year. That was their best outcome. And for those seniors and those juniors who have spent, a lot of those girls played as sixth graders when my son was a third grader in Y-ball. And so I've been watching some of these girls, the juniors in particular, play since they were 11. And they've been at it. And to know that you're walking into a program that hasn't had a lot of success, that requires a huge amount of courage and a lot of determination to be able to come back with a positive attitude over and over and over again.
Definitely. It says a lot about the heart and character of those girls. And I've had the pleasure of having a few of them in my classes, and I couldn't be more happy for them or more proud of what they've done so far this season.
JV girls beat Seaside 2-0 on Tuesday and then had a huge game in Valley Catholic. And Valley has got soccer dialed in, man. That community there of people there in Southwest Portland, the metro area, the Beaverton area, a lot of soccer opportunities. And Valley Catholic girls beat our girls varsity 7-0. But the JV girls got a 0-0 tie. And if you can go out and you can compete with the level of talent that Valley Catholic can put on the pitch and come out with a 0-0 tie, what a great week for girls soccer, man. My hats are off to them. Boys soccer, on the other hand, have the same exact rotation. JVs ended up tying Seaside 0-0. Varsity lost, I want to say 2-0 at home on Thursday against Valley Catholic. JVs lost 1-0, and Varsity lost in a really chippy ball game, 3-2. The end of that game was not a great example of positive leadership by either Valley Catholic or Tillamook or the officials or the fans. It got a little ugly, and those are the moments where I'm not horribly proud of the way that played out. And it was all parties involved. I don't think anybody walked away feeling really good about how they particularly handled the situation. As the Tillamook Cheesemaker boys soccer program didn't quite have the week that the girls soccer program had. Volleyball continues to roll. They lost in 5 sets to Valley Catholic, which is kind of frustrating because they beat Valley Catholic 2 weekends ago at the Sisters Tournament. Just alternated wins, losses, and wins and losses. Unfortunately, Valley Catholic got the first and last win. Third quarter's underway. Astoria takes the ball up the 15-yard line, straight up the field, one man to beat. Tanner Richardson makes contact at the 40, which allows Caleb Boomer to track back to get to the 49. Just completely busted coverage on that kickoff. Tanner Richardson was sitting at the 40-yard line, and running downhill at him was, I think, Taylor Hutchison. And Tanner did a great job slowing the play up, and Caleb was able to track back. Boomer was able to track back and make the play. But very inauspicious debut of the third quarter. Tillamook Cheesemakers find themselves down 10-6. It's Astoria's homecoming night, as Caleb Warner trying to get people fired up. So it's going to be the Tillamook 48-yard line. Astoria 52 yards from their third score of the night, as they're going to hand to first back through, met at the line of scrimmage by Perry Reeder, and Perry dumps the running back Karuna for a 4-yard loss. As suddenly penetration, where there had been no penetration in the second quarter, existed, and Perry was able to defeat not only the block but tackle the running back. loss of 4, loss of 3, we'll say, second down and 13 from the 45-yard line. Just started the third quarter, 10-6. Tillamook Cheesemakers got the first score, field goal and a touchdown by Astoria. Have made the score what it is, as option to the outside. Tillamook did a really nice job of stringing that out, as there was pitchman and quarterback, and both were covered well for, again, that's going to go for about a 2-yard loss, 1-yard loss. That'll be third down and 14. As pitching the ball was Williams, who had the touchdown. He pitched it to Karuna, but all Williams was doing is he wanted someone else to be tackled, I do believe. As Karuna picks up, 13 carries, 59 yards, is that right? 54 yards on 13 carries. Williams is going back to pass. He's looking in the flats, chattering his feet. He looks to his right. He's going to run the football, and he's going to be forced out of bounds about the original line of scrimmage. So he's going to pick up the 5 yards that were lost, and that's going to bring up fourth down and 10 on the 48-yard line. And I think Tillamook has done their job to punt. And Rube, there's a penalty flag. I don't see it, but that doesn't mean that it isn't there. Nope. And they're going to say, nope, just joking. Second time. That's the only second time all year I've seen a penalty flag waved off, and both of them have occurred in this football game. And it's going to be fourth down and 10 as Williams was able to pick up the lost yardage on the plays, and so that was a pickup of 5. Punt team is in. Silvera and Boomer are back. They're backing up. They're about on their 25-yard line. Punt's going to go over their head, I do believe. Pressure's coming, and it is a thank you very much as it bounces off Bo Williams as he's taking a drink of water, and they're going to mark it out at the 43-yard line. So that was a net gain of 8 yards on the punt, as punter almost missed that football. Dropped it, swung, and he touched it with the outer tenth of his right foot. Wet ball didn't help. But Tillamook Cheesemakers on a horrible kickoff return coverage really played that pretty well, I would say. 3 negative plays and got a bad punt out of it. So Tillamook is going to take over with 11 minutes left in the third quarter. First down and 10 from the 44-yard line, from Astoria's their own 44, Motion come. Caleb Warner's second back in the backfield. To Chris. Chris pops to the outside, cuts inside the defensive end, is pushing forward, and does a great job just on his own. That's just keeping his feet moving. None of the Astoria kids were able to square him up. They got caught on his hip, and they couldn't stop his forward motion, as Chris, completely on his own, is going to pick up the last 7 of a 9-yard gain, as a great job blocking by the offensive line allowed Chris to get to the corner. He jumped through, and then no one squared him up, and he just kept his feet going, piled forward like he's moving cows, pick up 9, second down and 1. Ball's at the 47-yard line. 2 backs in the backfield. Caleb Warner's the up back. They're going to hand. Oh, that was a long handoff right there. Chris turns the broken play into a first down as he picks up 3, as Matt had to hand the ball off, and Chris was running away from Matt as he was trying to hand the ball, and so it took a little bit to get that thing corralled. But Tillamook was able to turn the sticks over. First down and 10 from the 43. Coming up on the 10-minute mark. Again, remember, Tillamook is down 10-6. They scored first, but Astoria 10 unanswered points. Field goal right at the end of the first quarter and a touchdown right at the end of the second quarter has Astoria in the lead. Again, 2 backs in the backfield. Oh, the snap is dribbled. Matt's going to pick it up. He's going to try to get back to the line of scrimmage, and he doesn't. As the shotgun snap, skittered across the ground, and Matt did a really nice job of first picking the ball up because that thing is bouncing around a little bit, and then he ran right where the play was supposed to be run, but 2-yard loss as the timing was wrong. So second down and 12 from the 45-yard line. We'll see at some point the ball is going to have to be in the air, and Matt has thrown the ball twice but thrown the ball 3 times, completed 2. That's right, he had to throw into the end zone. That went incomplete while we were having reception issues. 2 backs in the backfield. Again, a handoff to Chris. He's going off left tackle, double team the defensive end, kick out, and didn't get the free safety. That's what that means. Free safety came downhill in a hurry, and he had time because Chris was running to the sideline, and the free safety was able just to track him all the way down. And in your blocking scheme, I can promise you, there probably is not a block for the free safety. You might have a lot of X's and O's and be able to block, you block this way, you block this way, this guy's going to have the seam, and we're going to be good to go. But you're not accounting for number 5. coming out of his free safety position. So Matt takes a long run from the near hash marks to the far sideline to talk to Kai Johnson. We're going to might have to hurry a little bit to get this play off as there's some standing around. The judge is looking at his watch, hands in the air. We got 5 seconds to snap the ball. It's going to be motion. Nope. Kellen Shelley going to receive the pass out the line of scrimmage, tackled and taken down there for a gain of about 3. As Kellen came in motion, and I didn't know if he was blocking the defensive end. He made contact with the defensive end, but he was trying to get to the flat, and Matt had to pump once and then throw the ball. But by the time the pass was open and Kellen had gotten off the defensive end, the window had closed. So it's 4th down and 8 from the 41-yard line, and I did not see any change of personnel. And Kai is going to send Matt back in. And so 4th down and 8, we'll see. This is a spot where momentum is going to shift one way or the other. I can promise you that. Because we've got trips to the near side. That's Boomer, Landon Warner, and Caleb Warner. Quick snap. Matt's back to pass through Landon Warner's hands. He was going to be short of the first down no matter what, as Landon was unable to bring the pass in. As quick snap, ball was out, and pass was going to be short no matter what. So it's going to be a turnover on downs, and Astoria is going to take over possession of the football on the 41-yard line. Now, 7 minutes and 19 seconds left in the third quarter. Tillamook Cheesemakers are down 10-6 as Astoria took the opening kickoff, went backwards 3 plays, had to punt the ball. Tillamook got a first down, but was unable to sustain it after they also had a couple negative plays. Turned the ball over on downs, and Tillamook Cheesemakers defense back on the field. Split backs in the backfield. Let's see if Long gets a touch here. Now they're going to go 3 backs as the motion goes deep, and it is not Long, as it is Karuna, and meets Brian Rieger, I do believe. No, that isn't Rieger. That is Michael Horton, as Horton got a pretty good lock on him. Took him down for a 1-yard loss, and I believe that was Karuna running the football. As I take that back. It was Long, but it doesn't make any difference. No one's keeping stats at home. I'm trying to make your job harder, Roman. Right? You're doing good at it. Yeah, I'm doing well. No, I grew up taking stats, and I always got angry at Bill Schonley if you didn't tell me who got the rebound. Oh man, that made me mad. I was a pretty avid stats keeper at the age of 10. Listened to KEX radio, Bill Schonley and Portland Trailblazers. Williams is going to be flushed out. It's going to be pressure coming. There's no one in the pass pattern, and no flag. Caleb Warner got a pretty good lick on Williams as pressure was coming, and it's going to be an incomplete. Roman's up here trying to dislocate his left shoulder, throwing the flag.
Yeah, I'm a little surprised they didn't call a grounding on that. Nobody was around except for white shirts.
Yeah, there was a running back that he overthrew by about 8 yards. So it'll be 3rd down and 9 from the 42-yard line. From 6 minutes and 30 seconds left, 10-6 score, homecoming for Astoria. Tillamook's trying to ruin that, trying to get a pretty good spot for 3rd place in the league. The winner's got the inside track on 3rd. They're going to drop straight back to pass. Ball's going to be flat hill. It's overthrown. It had a little wobble to it as I think it came out of Williams' hand a little soft, and that has a lot to do with the wet ball. And it's just been a steady, heavy miss. You know, I heard people talk about 1 1/4 inches of rain in Astoria over the course of the next however many hours, and it hasn't been that bad. But it's been one of those drenching drizzles that just absolutely soak you all the way through. And that ball fluttered like it was wet, and that's going to bring up 4th down and 9, and the punt team comes on. And Boomer and Silvera are on the 30. You just got to be really super aware of the slickness of the football. Not a lot of pressure. The kick's away. It's a much better kick than the one prior to it. It hits off the back of the up block. That's Caleb Warner. The Boomer picks it up. Great block by Tommy Cruz, and Boomer is going to fight across the 43-yard line, but they are going to get Caleb on the hold, as I didn't know if they were going to see that or not. Caleb got his hands wrapped around the guy that he was blocking. The punt came down and hit Caleb in the back, and he then had to go from blocking out to blocking in as Boomer had hopped to the outside, and he had his hands wrapped around the Astoria fisherman and got called for holding. So that's going to push the ball back to the 22-yard line. Originally, Caleb was out to the 45, the 44, and so that penalty is going to be about a 17-yard net loss if you think about where the ball would have been placed versus where it is placed. So it's going to be 1st down and 10 a little over 6 minutes left in the third quarter, and the Cheesemakers are going to try to put a drive together. Roman, what do you think needs to be done here?
Yeah, we got to find a way to get our passing game going right here. I mean, it's proven that Silvera can carry the ball on the ground, but soon enough the fishermen will start locking in solely on him. So we got to get the passing game to open up the offense.
There we go. If you're going to throw the ball, I'd like to throw the ball to Caleb Boomer. I think that's your best athlete in the split position. So Kellen Shelley goes in motion. They're going to hand the ball underneath to, Chris Silvera, and he is tackled by his face mask, and there it is, as a big hand wearing black grabbed Chris's mask and put him on the ground. And it took a little bit for the officials to find the flag, but 2 of them came in. And we'll see if that's 5 or 15. I can't imagine it's 5, but I've been wrong all the time. So we'll say it's a 5-yard penalty, and I'll be surprised if it turns into 15. They're not going to wave this one off, as it was pretty blatant. You could hear the crowd. I could hear the crowd go, ooh. And so when the crowd says that, you know, and it's the home team, right? you know it's pretty blatant. And it is going to be a personal foul, so I'm surprised because I was expecting a 5-yard penalty. Right? You see how that worked right there?
I like it.
So 15 yards against Astoria is going to move the ball forward for an automatic first down. They're going to pace it back out to about where Caleb was when he was originally tackled. It'll be a couple yards short of that on the kickoff. And so it'll be first down and 10 from the 39-yard line. And your splits, your wide receivers are Caleb Warner, Zeke Kuhn, Kellen Shelley, and you got a tight end and Landon Warner. Matt's going to roll out. He's going to throw the ball to Landon. Landon catches the ball, makes a little move at the 40, makes a move at the 45, and gets across the 50 down to the 49-yard line. That's nice running by Landon Warner as he came from his tight end position. He was in a 3-point stance, came up about 2 steps down, 3 steps out. Matt rolled out to Landon's side, delivered a really easy ball, and Landon did a nice job of getting underneath the first tackle, missing the second, and then falling forward for a pickup of 11. Ball is placed right on the 50-yard line, first down and 10. In a 10-6 ball game, Tillamook is desperately looking for points on this drive towards the end of the third quarter. 5.5 minutes left in the third quarter, and Tillamook would love to take the lead on this possession. Caleb Warner, nope. It's going to be Chris Silvera. Chris crossed the 45-yard line down to the 42 as gaps are suddenly showing up again. Pickup of 7, I'm going to say, pickup of 8. I take it back as it's going to be second down and 2. The ball rests on the 42-yard line. 42 yards from pay dirt is what this is, as Tillamook has reestablished the run, which I find really interesting. As gaps that were in the first quarter disappeared in the second quarter, now showing back up a little bit in the third. Motion again from Caleb. Again, it's going to be to Chris. Chris finds somebody in the hole, sheds the first, but can't shed the second or the third. And stepping across from the fisherman was Evan Hillard, 5'10", 180-pound senior, as he was the one that made Chris change his trajectory, and that allowed 2 more Black Flats fishermen to come and dump Chris for a 1-yard loss. Take it back. It's going to be third down and 8. Big play right here. You're in 4-down territory, so it's not monumental, but you do not want to be flirting with the 4th down and turn the ball back over to Astoria. As the game right now has been played between the 40s, as both teams have had a hard time penetrating into anything that resembles danger. And Chris is going to hit the line of scrimmage at the 40-yard line, and I believe they're going to mark him just short of the 40 by about a width of a referee's foot, maybe 2 referees' feet. So that's not 2 feet. It's the width of 2 feet. And they're going to look. Kai Johnson has his hands out and says, how can you even place the football there? That's absolutely ridiculous. And the white hat raises his fist and says, that's 4th down. And Kai has a little something to say, but he's talking more to Matt right now, Matt Silvera, rather than anybody else. As he's a little disappointed. I think he wanted it. And you want it really bad, and you don't get it, then you get a little grouchy. But you got to shake that off, and you got to call your next play. So it's going to be 2 backs in the backfield. Chris goes to Matt's right. Caleb's on his left. They're going to hand to Chris. Chris is going to fight across the 40 to the 40. Nope, the near side judge is going to mark him short. The far side judge, I don't believe is going to be the one to make the call. The white hat wants to talk exactly where the football is. Landon Warner says that's a first down the whole way through, and they're going to hand it to the near side judge, and it's going to be a loss of yardage. So no gain. In fact, it's going to be a little bit of a loss. As if the official said the last one was 4th down, this one has to be first down. but they're going to bring the chains out. Now, why in the world would you not measure the last play if you think this play deserves to be measured? Because this is actually backwards from where it was on the previous play. And they're going to bring it across the field. They're going to bring the chains 40 yards across the field. That makes absolutely no sense to me. But I understand it's fourth down, and they want to get it right. I would have liked to have them try to get it right on third down, too. They didn't show great desire to get it right on third down. They're willing to eyeball it on third down. I was going to say only positive things. I told the officiating crew, hey, Tillamook radio, I'm only going to say positive things. They didn't have to measure it. It's going to be short. Tillamook Cheesemakers turn it over on down. That's frustrating. Couldn't get the push, couldn't get the surge. Michael Horton's pretty frustrated. He's drawn a little bit with Astoria. That doesn't help. It doesn't help at all. So Astoria's going to have first down and 10 from just outside the 40-yard line. 3 minutes and 7 seconds left, and they have a 4-point lead in a horribly important Coapa League game. It's got state playoff implications. In the Cheesemakers defense, they're going to have to step up and rise to the occasion and stop the Fishermen again. It won't be the last time they have to stop it, but this is a important. Williams, quarterback to the right. He's going to run it the whole way. He acts like he's going to pitch it. Cuts back to the 50, and he's going to go down there as he picks up 10, makes that 11. Williams, good little athlete, turned the corner. Oh, no. There's going to be a penalty against the Cheesemakers. It's going to be in the backfield. I don't know what that's called. I didn't see it. All I just saw him is a point emphatically. The white hat pointed emphatically Tillamook's direction to assess the penalty. So it'll be unsportsmanlike against Tillamook. So that's going to be 15 more yards, and that's what I'm talking about. That level of frustration turns into action, and those actions are made in the heat of the moment, and quite often teenage males do not make great decisions when they're emotionally engaged. True statement, Roman?
True statement, but hopefully that, lights the little fire under the defense and, gives them some inspiration to turn this around and shut down the Fisherman offense.
35-yard line, the Astoria Fishermen are looking at adding to their lead, 10-6 homecoming night. Again, in Astoria, they got 5 wide receivers, 3 to the near side, 2 to the top side. Motion comes. It's going to be the running back. It's going to be fly sweep, get off your blocks, and step up. And Tillamook does exactly that. But the running back, Justin Villa, who is a wide receiver, still is able to jump forward, pick up a 3, as the Cheesemakers are looking at 4 downs now to be able to stop Astoria. Back in the round on the other side of the 50, you wouldn't have been in that position. But now, when you're down near the 30, you're willing to gamble. 2 backs in the backfield. It's Long as well as Karuna. With Williams in shotgun, they're going to go to Karuna. Karuna follows the football. It's on the turf. He recovers it. Caleb touches him down. It's going to be a loss of 1. Is that the first time Astoria's put the ball on the carpet?
Yeah, that is their first fumble of the game. Right?
Wow. Well, and we talked about this is going to be a game of miscues and which team makes the fewest mistakes. We'll see. As Tillamook was unable to convert on 3rd and less than a yard, and as well as 4th and less than a yard. Checking in late is going to be Long. My guess is he's not going to touch the football because he didn't really talk to anybody about what the play is. But he goes to a tight end position. Karun is a single back in the backfield. It's going to be Williams rolling out to his left. He's going to throw with his right hand. Lots of pressure coming. Ball's up and in the air and comes back against the flow of the play was going to be Villa, and it's going to be incomplete as Williams was not able to throw the ball as far downfield as he wanted to, considering the pressure that he was receiving from the Cheesemakers. And that's going to be 4th down and 9 now from the 34-yard line. And Rube is going to have to think about what he wants to do as he's talking to his quarterback. Hopefully not about the last play, because that doesn't do you any good, Coach. You got to talk about the next play. And Rube is an excellent football coach and athletic director. That's a tough combo. Could you imagine trying to do that fall season?
That's a lot of work for one guy.
That is a lot of work for one guy. So 4th down and 9 from the 39-yard line as the Cheesemakers have an opportunity to get Astoria off the football field right here on this play. And Long doesn't know where to go, so he's going to step in. Hunt's going to step out. They're going to throw the football. They're going to throw it to Hunt on the slant, and Hunt catches it from the 15-yard line and down to the 5. As I'm not so certain that ball was meant for him, as Villa was running the same post on the opposite side, and they almost ran into each other. But for the second time, Hunt is able to have a huge play and overcome a negative situation for Astoria. And first down and goal from the 5-yard line. And gosh dang it, right at the end of the third quarter. Astoria scored with about 40 seconds left in the first quarter and 40 seconds left in the second quarter. And here we are, 40 seconds left in the third quarter, first and goal, wishful thinking. First and goal from the 6-yard line, we'll say. And it's going to be, again, Williams up under center. Watch the quarterback sneak. No, he's going to hand to the third back through. And the third back is going to push forward as he met Michael Horton and was able to fall forward, pick up a 2, and we'll say 1. Ball is going to be placed on the 5, and that will be the last play of the third quarter as Williams calls the team over the sideline. We'll take a 60-second break, and we'll be back for the fourth quarter after this word from our sponsors. Welcome back to Astoria High School. Nathan Radcliffe and Roman Ballin, your broadcast crew, and homecoming at Astoria. Cheesemakers are clinging to a 4-point deficit. That sounds funny to say, but it's a second and goal from the 4-yard line as the 50-50 ticket was just called, and with a $300 pot for the half. That's a pretty good haul right there. As unfortunately, Melissa, it wasn't me, honey. I'm not bringing $300 home unless I roll Ballin and take everything he's got. I don't think I can, so how about we don't do that? As Roman's working on third quarter stats, Astoria is going to look back in, and they don't have the correct personnel on the field, right? You're coming out of a quarter, right? You've had 60 seconds to go sit and talk, and one of your running backs isn't on the field. So 3 backs in the backfield. Williams up under center. They're going to hand to the third back through. That's Corona. Corona's fighting to the corner, and he's going to win the corner and win the end zone as he is going to get the touchdown. And no flag on the field. Caleb Warner got cracked pretty hard on that block. He's got a little hitch to his giddy-up is what he has. But Corona had 2 lead blocks in front of him. Williams goes up under center. The 3 backs are on a flat line. First back goes to the right. Middle back goes to the right. Third back gets the football and goes to the right. And it's the student body trip. The corner was achieved and the touchdown was scored. So Coruna's going to make it 16-6 on the first play of the fourth quarter. And Holmberg is in to attempt the extra point. He's got plenty of leg, you know that for a fact. He kicks it up with his right foot. It kicks low, but it's going to be through as the Astoria Fishermen draw first blood in the fourth quarter, 17-6. Astoria is up at homecoming. We'll be back after this word from our sponsors. Tillamook Cheesemakers find themselves down 17-6, and a must-win if you want a third-place position and want to host a playoff game. It's a must-win situation. Find themselves down 17-6. Was that another impressive drive or not, Roman?
Yeah, they were able to move the ball pretty well up there. I mean, especially after that big passing play. But Corona was able to punch it in from 6 yards out with 11:53 here left in the fourth, with extra PAT being good there. The total drive was 59 yards over 7 plays. The big pass was the 44-yard pass from Williams to Villa.
Boomer picks the kick up off at the 20, across to the 30. He's got room to burst to the 45, to the 50, 45, 40. He's got one man to beat. He's got the corner. Touchdown, Caleb Boomer, as he takes it from the 20 to the house. That is an 80-yard touchdown. We talked about how Tillamook needed to put points on the board, and that is lightning in a bottle where number 24 with some red sleeves underneath that white jersey as Caleb takes the kickoff to the house. Special teams rule. 11 minutes and 40 seconds left. And Tillamook has responded in fine form as Caleb takes the kickoff to the house. He popped through the original pressure at the 35-yard line. He had one man, and that man had an angle on him. And if you're going to catch Caleb Boomer in a foot race, you better have one heck of an angle or a heck of a head start. And that kid had neither. Caleb takes it to the house. It's going to be 17-12, and Tillamook is looking to go for 2. As they have decided that they don't want to be up 17-13. They want, down 17-13. They prefer to try to be down 17-14 and make this a field goal difference. Single back in the backfield is Chris O'Bara. Matt's still in shotgun. 3 receivers to the left-hand side. He's going to go to the right. Nope, it's going to be a quarterback draw up the middle. scampers through, and he's going to pick up 1 out of the 3 yards he needs. And so it's going to be the score is going to stay at 17-12. 11:40 left. We'll be back after this word from our sponsors. Tillamook Cheesemakers strike quick on the kickoff, answering Astoria's score that put them up 17-6. Tillamook comes back, puts their own touchdown up, fails on the 2-pointer, so it's going to stay 17-12. Kickoff is a dribbler, bounces up at the 30. It's going to be fielded there to the 35 and buried at the 37-yard line. And that's why you kick the ball on the ground right there. Bounce it around, allow people to get downfield. And Jack Donachini and Michael Horton were the 2 down on coverage. As Caleb Boomer goes, what did I say? Was that from the 25? Yep, so that was 75-yard kickoff return. Might have been a touch longer than that. As Tillamook is now down 17-12. It's a 5-point deficit. There's got to get a stop, right? You can't outscore this team. You can't trade blows. You're down, so you're going to have to get a stop and a bucket. In basketball language, you got to get a stop and a touch to get the game back under control. So 2 backs in the backfield. They're going to hand it to Karuna. Karuna gets hog-tied by Tommy Cruz and tackled for a loss as they take them back to the 30. It's going to be a loss of 6. Oh, that's a heavy 6. Nope. It's going to be a light 6. As Tommy Cruz knifes through from linebacker position, takes to Corona down for the loss. Oh, they're only going to say a loss of 4. That guy's blind. That's 5. Put in the books. Karuna, the running back, goes in motion. They're going to run option. Boy, this is long. And Kellen Shelley does a pretty good job on the pitch end, but he can't get his head around as carrying the ball for Astoria was the running back that eventually got the pitch, and that's Karuna. And he's going to pick up the 5 that they lost plus 3 more, so that'll be a gain of 8, and that'll put it on the 40. As it was option to the wide side of the field, and Kellen did a pretty good job of covering both pitch and quarterback, but could not get his head on the outside of the running back, and Karuna was able to break the arm tackle. That's a tough situation to put your cornerback in. You can that right shoulder is causing Kellen just a little bit of trouble. 3rd down and 8. Single back in the backfield. It's going to be Karuna up. They're going to throw a little bubble screen as Bacon comes out, lays the block on Kellen Shelley, and it's going to be Tommy Cruz that pushes Olsen out of bounds. As that tackle, that big tackle, who was that? What was his? Is that 78? No, it couldn't have been. He wasn't that big. No, 78's got his hat off. No, it must have been 66. That was Grant Rowe, 270-pound tackle. Did a great job of coming out and kicking Kellen Shelley out of the way. You got to hustle if you're going to be a tackle and you're going to get out and block the cornerback. So pick up a 1st down. Big play again. That was 3rd down and 7, 3rd down and 8. So it's 1st and 10 from the 38-yard line. 10 minutes left in the 4th quarter. Deep motion goes to Villa, and it's going to be Long running the ball. Pick up a 3 as they place the ball on the 35-yard line. Slow getting up is Brian Rieger as the defensive tackle has got himself a little bit uncomfortable. So Cameron Buffin comes in to replace him as Brian's going to go just check his parts and maybe have Jess Johnson make certain that everything's still attached. The trainer for Tillamook. 2 backs in the backfield, splitting the slot on the near side, tight end on the far side. Pulling the guards. Corona has a soft corner, and there's a reason that was a soft corner. Not 1, but 2 flags come out, right? You can hold. You're looking pretty good, so the white hat moves his flag up. So they're both sitting on the 33-yard line. Going to be a holding call as Astoria is going to be assessed 10 yards, and so that'll bring up 2nd down and 20 by the time it shakes out, because it was at the original line of scrimmage. Remember, they picked up 3 on the opening play, and so they're going to lose those 3 plus 10 more, and it'll be 2nd down and 20. Or they make 9 yards of penalty off, so maybe it was 1 yard past the line of scrimmage. So it'll be 2nd down and 19. 9 minutes and 18 seconds left in the fourth quarter. At some point, time is going to become an issue. It's not going to be on this next drive the Cheesemakers have. It's going to be on the one following that where time is going to be an issue. And so with one good, solid, non-time focused drive, you really want to get a stop here and make that drive the one that puts you in the lead. Motion from Long, single back in the backfield. Karuna goes back. It's going to be a screen. Reeder's the only one there to make the play. He kind of makes it, and the Cheesemakers rally well as Reeder was sitting in the hole, and the screen pass is caught by Villa for no gain as they actually mark him back 2 yards. So it's going to be 3rd down and 21 from the 48-yard line. So they're going to have to get inside the 30 to convert this first down. And I would just make certain you know exactly where Ian Hunt is, as that's the man that they've gone to when they've needed the big play. In the second quarter and the third quarter, he had crucially important plays to maintain scoring drives. And so lined up on him is going to be Caleb Boomer on the far side, right on the Cheesemaker sidelines, 2 back in the backfield. And he's going to run a slant. They're going to look his way. He's triple covered. They're going to throw the ball up, and it's going to be a jump ball, and it's going to be, stripped away. Oh, they've got pass interference. Chris Olvera jumps up, fought the receiver. I think that's Olsen. Fought Olsen and stripped the ball away, and the flag came out. I can't imagine it's anything other than pass interference on Chris Olvera, and it is. As Chris, I thought, did a pretty good job stripping the ball away. I thought Olsen maybe have caught it originally, and Chris stripped it. So it'll be a 15-yard penalty, but we'll see, is it an automatic first down? That's the question. 15 yards still puts it at 3rd and 6. Now he's got to count. Hopefully he's going to take those shoes off because he's got to get all the way to 15. That's mean, isn't it? I said I was only... Listen, I saw you counting on your fingers, Sweetum. So it is. It's going to be 3rd down and 5 as the penalty is assessed against the Cheesemakers. And it was a physical play. And Tillamook did a really nice job taking away Ian Hunt. He ran sort of a skinny post, and Olsen was running a deep post. And they were throwing to Olsen. And Chris found himself on an island and was unable to make the play. So it's going to be a little shovel pass. Second time to Villa. Villa's met by Landon Warner, falls forward, and he is going to be deep enough to get the first down. So I think Tillamook Cheesemakers just gave up a 3rd and 21. Nope, they're going to say he's short. So now it's 4th and 1, and we'll see if Tillamook can return the favor, right? It was 4th and less than 1. That Tillamook was unable to convert on. My guess is you see 3 backs in the backfield, and you're going to see Williams up under center, and you're going to run quarterback sneak. And so you've got to just dive if you're Reeder or any down lineman. Oh, now they're going to measure as they're not so certain. So the marker's placed on the 35-yard line. They're going to stretch the change, and that's well short. That's short by a half a yard. Yep. As Rube must have asked for a measurement. He probably wanted to talk to his quarterback for an extra 30 seconds, right?
More coaching, right?
There we go, right. I'm not so certain, sir. Can I have a measurement right there? Okay, so here's what we got, because we know it's a half yard short. We're going to run quarterback goose, tuck in underneath 78, and just keep your feet moving. So we'll see 4th down and 1. What does Rube have underneath the sleeve? As Astoria has the lead, it's under 7 minutes left in the fourth quarter, 17-12, in a really well-contested football game and well-played football game. Landon Warner comes up, says a couple things. Yeah, sure enough, 3 backs in the backfield. Williams is up under center. My guess is you're getting a quarterback sneak right here. Yep, there it is. Oh, but step it through, and they blew the whistle with a penalty. Procedure. No, you don't call that. You don't call that. Not a procedure. You allow the play to be run. It's procedure against. Do you have to blow that dead?
New rules are confusing. I mean, in the NFL this year, they're calling it dead if they can. It used to be a free play.
Oh, so it's going to be 4th down and 6, but I thought Cheesemakers had Williams stopped on 4th down. Williams stepped through on the quarterback sneak, and I think Cameron had him taken care of. Cameron Buffett, new transfer. This is his first game he's played. I think he had it, and they blew the play dead and assessed the penalty, and now it's going to be 4th down and 6. Oh, this is just going to kill me if Astoria is able to convert this fourth down, because I thought Cheesemakers had Williams stopped on the quarterback sneak, and the officials blew it dead, assessed the 5-yard penalty. This is going to turn out to be frustrating. One back in the backfield. It's going to be Williams. He's going to roll out to his right. He's looking to throw the ball. He throws the ball downfield. Chris Rivera again. He's going to be called for pass interference again. That was legitimate. Chris had no idea where the ball was. He turned it back to the quarterback, threw his hands in the air, and tried to knock the pass down. They had contact with the receiver, and that's just automatic. And so 4th down and 6, they throw the ball deep.
That first flag, Silvera got flagged, throwing on him was questionable, but that one was legit.
Well, what happened is Chris started to step up to support the run, I think, because he did not expect the ball to be in the air, and it was. And by the time he recognized it, he had Olsen behind him and had to react back. And so 2 15-yard penalties by the Cheesemakers, both on Chris Silvera, have put Astoria in a position where they can maybe salt this game away. 6.5 minutes left, up 5. They put a touchdown on the board, and they're going to go up 12. That's maybe not something you can overcome in 6.5 minutes unless Boomer somehow is able to wiggle another genie out of his pocket. That's asking a lot, though. So Tillamook needs a big play. They need a turnover because Astoria is within field goal range. Ball's 1st down and 10 from the 18-yard line. They're going to hand the ball to Karuna. Karuna running sideways. Landon Warner fighting his way to the outside. Karuna's going to jump ahead to the 15. I think that's the 16-yard line, so it'll be a pickup of 3, 2nd down and 7, and the clock continues to run. 6 minutes and 20 seconds left in the fourth quarter, 17-12, as Cheesemakers desperately need a stop right here. And Astoria is just looking to continue to put positive plays up because I think, they got the lead, so they don't need points, but they've got a field goal kicker that they trust because he hit from here in the first quarter, at the end of the first quarter. They're going to hand to Karuna. Karuna's going to meet Messiah and push backwards. There'll be a loss on the play, a loss of 3. Perry Reeder and Messiah team up on that.
Messiah's been having a great game. He's been getting penetration darn near every play.
Well, he's just a matchup nightmare because he's strong enough to play inside, but he's quick enough to be really hard to block. He's just an absolutely prototypical gap-jumping down lineman. If he's going to get in a pushing match, that may not work. But what he's going to do is he's going to take the angle, and if he's right when he takes the angle, he's a terror defensively. 3rd down and, we'll say 11. Ball sits just inside the 20. 5 quick, no one in the backfield. Williams rolls to his right, throws the ball into the end zone. Caleb Boomer making the play, breaks it up, pushes him out of bounds, incomplete pass. Bringing up 4th down and 10, 5 minutes left, and we'll see if Rube is going to bring in his place kicker. And no sign. His coach is tying his shoe as William comes over to talk to him. My guess is we're going to see a timeout here as everybody's sort of looking around at each other. It's going to be 4th down and 10 inside the 20. And Rube is looking. He's going to take a timeout. We're going to take a timeout, too. We'll be back after this word from our sponsors. Welcome back. Tillamook Cheesemakers are faced with a defensive decision. Well, I guess they're not faced with a decision. It's Astoria that's faced with the offensive decision. But, man, how big was that procedure penalty? Because it was 4th down and 1. They're going to run the goose. They're going to run the quarterback sneak, and you thought we had it stopped.
We did have it stopped. That was a real heartbreaker right there.
Jumped the gap, had 2 arms wrapped around the quarterback, and the official blew the play dead. That's the 5-yard penalty. Got the pass interference call against Chris Silvera. First down and 10, but Tillamook has made the plays necessary. Astoria's going to go for it. I'm a little surprised here that they don't kick the field goal.
That was a moment.
So they got split backs in the backfield. They got a split in the slot on both sides. Williams is going to look to throw the ball. They're going to throw the ball back to the left, and it's caught. And first down. Hunt again as they rolled a short roll to the right that then threw back across the field to the short side of the field, wind the clock. First down, 1st and goal. Inside the 5, 1st and goal on 4th, and that is Hunt's 3rd catch for, I don't know what I'll say, 75 yards. No, that isn't quite that much. Just feels like it's that much. No, Hunt So it's going to be first down and goal from the 4.5 minutes left. Down 5, the Cheesemakers now have to get a turnover as Corunna runs the ball sideways. He picks up maybe a yard. And then Corunna is forced sideways. Clock continues to run. We're going to be under 4 minutes on the snap of this football as they bring in Big Hoss. As Big Country comes in, remember, he's the tackle, Ben Carpenter, 6'7", 370. We don't have kids that big at Tillamook, do we? Have you seen 6'7", 370?
I don't know if I've ever seen somebody that big.
But he's going to step in as right tackle, left tackle, and they're going to follow right behind him. Cheesemakers shed the first, can't get the second, falling into the end zone. It's going to be long, and he picks up the touchdown from 3 yards out, and that's going to just about do it. The Cheesemakers are going to find themselves down at least 11, 23-12, 3 minutes and 47 seconds left, and they just could not make the big plays. Ian Hunt just tore the heart out of it for the third time as he has made catch after catch after catch. And it's not just the yards, it's when do the yards take place. And Cheesemakers are going to be down as the PAT is coming. Paulberg is going to be set to kick. Ball's down, it's going to be fumbled. And smoked is the place kicker by Chris Silvera, and it's going to be no good. Cheesemakers, did they throw a flag on that?
They did throw a flag on that.
They did. They threw a flag on Chris Silvera. I believe maybe it was Kellen Shelley. They're going to say it's unnecessary, a personal foul against the Cheesemakers. And what happened there is the snap was bad, and the ball got bobbled, and it didn't get set down quick enough, and that allowed the defensive penetration to come through and make contact with the place kicker, Palmberg, and it was on his helmet when that's where the contact took place. And so they're sorting this all out. Now, remember, this is on a PAT, and so I don't know what you want to do. Do you want to take the result of the play, which is a failed PAT? You want to move the ball forward. I think what Rube wants, he wants to re-kick it and assess 15 yards on the kickoff. I think that's really what he wants. I don't think he gets both. I think he can have one or the other. I think he can either have half the distance to the goal, or he can take the 15 yards on the kickoff. And I think he's going to take half the distance, and I think he's going to take his two-point conversion team in. Because it looked like there was a lot of bodies changing in and out. Palmberg's going out, the place kicker. And so Astoria's going to try to go for 2 from the 1.5-yard line. That'd make it a 13-point game. Don't really see the issue here. However, not my decision. As up under center is Williams, 3 backs in the backfield. They're just flat straight across. Oh, are they going to go left or right? They're going to go right. Nope, they're going to go quarterback sneak as he fake pitches and steps into the end zone. As he fake pitches like he's going to hand to the third back through, and then he just keeps it to himself and walks into the end zone. Tillamook Cheesemakers find themselves down 25-12. 3 minutes, 47 seconds left in the kickoff coming. You're going to want to be back just to see if Caleb Boomer can return one to the house. We'll be back in 60 seconds. Cheesemaker so frustrated. They had Astoria stop on 4th and goal about halfway through that drive. Assessed the penalty Astoria was that allowed them to go on 4th and 6, and they converted. Got a couple pass interference penalties to turn that over. Got a nice catch by Ian Hunt for his 3rd catch, and Cheesemakers find themselves down 13. That scoring drive was 64 yards on 8 plays, 10 plays? 10 plays. Cheesemakers are down 25-12 after the 2-point conversion, and looking to kick the ball off again. The Astoria Fishermen are. 3:47 left in the game, and Tillamook is going to require a miracle. As kicking the ball deep, Caleb Boomer from the 16-yard line across the 40 to the 44-yard line, and the ball is going to be placed there. As Caleb was not quite able to repeat his heroics from the previous kickoff. Can't expect that. And Tillamook is going to take over from there. 3 minutes and 40 seconds left, and they're going to need a touchdown, a stop, and a touchdown. but you start with this touchdown, then you get your onside kick, and then you get your second touchdown, right? And at least that's the straightest path between here and victory. It's not a very straight path, but that is the straightest path. But you got to start here. You got to start with your touchdown on this possession. It's got to be quick. You don't have time for 8 plays, 9 plays to move the 56 yards they're going to need. They're going to have to put the ball in the air. That's the very back. He's going to throw a little slant to Caleb Boomer. Caleb catches it, breaks a tackle, breaks a second tackle, breaks a third tackle down to the 42-yard line, and Caleb Boomer has enough for the first down, and that was all Caleb. It was about a 3-yard pass play, and he was met. As soon as he caught the ball, he was met with contact. And he fought the contact off, turned upfield, fought the contact off a second time, and picked up 12, 6, 13, I'll take it back, 13 yards on the pickup. From the 42, first down and 10, strips to the top side. Kellen Shelley is a single back to the bottom. They're going to hand to Chris Silvera. Chris has to elude a linebacker and is going to gain 7 all on his own. As there was a linebacker in the hole when Chris got there, but he was able to step around it. The linebacker grabbed his hips and tried to slow him down, and Chris said, not me, man. I'm the gingerbread man. You can't catch me. And then still he got caught. You like that gingerbread man reference? That was pretty good. Never used that one before. Splitting the slot on both sides, single back in the backfield. Matt's going to look downfield. He's looking to his right. He's going to throw the ball, and it's intercepted. Tried to get the ball to Steve Kuhn and overthrew it. And jumping the passing route was cornerback. We'll get a number and we'll get a name. As salting the win away for Astoria was Michael Moore, a 5'9", 175-pound sophomore, as that was the really only mistake that Matt's thrown all game long. I don't think he's thrown a bad ball all night. The second turnover. Astoria doesn't have a turnover. Tillamook has 2. Well, did you count the muff punt? Because that's really a turnover.
Yeah, that's a turnover. We should have 3.
Yep, three turnovers. And that's a tough spot to put a team. So it's going to be Long running the ball. Matt, timeout called. Oh, boy. Had a little loss of composure right there by a Cheesemaker. And that back judge had to throw the flag a long way, and he got most of the way there, but he didn't get the last 4 yards until the second toss. So the crowd erupted because on the near side, on the crowd side, Tillamook Cheesemaker got a pretty good late hit in. Well, not a good late hit, a pretty poor decision to make a late hit, and that's going to cost the Cheesemakers penalties as there's a substitution as guilty party comes out, has a couple things to say, puts his hands on his hips. Part of what sports is about, right, Roman? Yes, sir. Making good decisions in difficult situations. And this is a difficult situation, and that was not a good decision. So it's going to cost the Cheesemakers 15 yards and a first down. It's kind of all academic. 2 minutes and 38 seconds left, and Cheesemakers are down 13 after the third turnover. And, you think about what the conversation was between Rube and Johnson. It was about who's going to make the fewer bonehead plays. And Tillamook has made a couple of them between the pass interference and the turnovers and that personal foul. As running the ball was Astoria, and he's thrown down. Is Long. Running the ball. No, I take that back. That's Stutzenegger, a 5'8", 178-pound junior. I see Stutzenegger sweatshirts in front of me, so I'm going to say only positive things. Right? As running the football for Astoria, pick up a 5 right there. Coming up on 2 minutes, down 13, and Astoria is milking the clock. Williams is just staring down the back judge. Back judge is looking at his watch. Hands in the air, so 5 seconds. Williams becomes serious about snapping the football. Ball's up with maybe a second left. They're going to hand again to Stutzenegger, and they're wrestled down by Harry Rader. Timeout again by Tillamook. $1:50 left, down 13. And Tillamook is hoping that they can get a stop on this particular drive. It's going to be 3rd down and 8 for the Cheesemaker defense to get the stop. And Greg Warner calls the crew over. And just this relentless rain continues. Tillamook cheerleaders soaked all the way through. Astoria cheerleaders are pretty wet, but they have a tent that they can hide under. I think that's cheating, personally.
Yeah, no kidding.
Right?
It's our tent.
Well, I mean, come on. I do see there's a couple umbrellas over there on the Tillamook side. I don't know. I don't think Tillamook people use umbrellas.
We can take it.
Well, it's so dang windy that's really called a parachute here, as the Cheesemakers are in a pretty bad situation, and hopefully I did not lose contact as I dropped my phone. Not my phone, the radio's phone. But we'll see. 3rd down and 8, a minute 50 left, ball rest on the 43-yard line, 25-12. And Astoria tonight is the better football team. They've made the plays, the positive plays that need to be made, and they have failed to make the negative plays that Tillamook desperately needs. And Tillamook, on the other hand, has done exactly the opposite. They haven't been able to make the big plays, and they have made the negative plays that has allowed Astoria to stay productive. As a new quarterback is in, that's Villa, and Villa is going to run for the sideline, and he's going to make about 4 of those, and there's a penalty. As Astoria is going to be assessed a penalty, I do believe, down for the Cheesemakers. I can't see who that is on that far side. I think that's Matt Silvera. And this was the field that Matt Silvera, and it's not a knee injury. No, that was Chris Silvera. I take it back. But this was the field where a year ago Matt Silvera tore his ACL. And he went out, he got tackled, he went down, he got off the field kind of gingerly. He sat out a series as Chad Warner came in, and then he came in the next series, and very first play he was done. And Matt has then had to fight all the way back for the year in the rehab necessary to get the ACL taken care of, and he's had a really nice run of football. So that penalty is going to be declined by the Cheesemakers because they don't want the time off the clock that it would take to redo 3rd down. And so it's going to be 4th down and 4 from the 39-yard line. And there's going to be the final timeout called as the clock was about ready to wind. And we'll keep this one here as there have been plenty of stoppages. As the Cheesemakers, I don't know, they're going to have to get a stop and then hope for the best, right?
That's all they can really do right now. Is they have to play their best possible defense right here and hope they can get the ball back right now.
Yeah, and you can't have a penalty, right? This is an opportunity, right? You've got a minute 41 left. You're going to get the ball back if you get a stop. You're going to have a score. You're going to have an onside kick and another score. And that's the path forward. It's the same crooked path that we talked about 2 minutes of game time before when it was 3 minutes and 47 seconds left. And now we're going to have to do it with probably about a minute and a half left rather than 3:47. That's defensive coach Greg Warner has his say to his defensive team. Miguel Nemai is in. Linebacker, maybe defensive end, depends if he steps up or he sits back. Astoria in the same situation threw the ball, and I think caught Tillamook a little bit by surprise as they go with a tight formation. Everybody basically on the line of scrimmage. And this time, Rube calls timeout as he wanted to see what Tillamook was going to do with that particular formation. And again, we'll keep it here because I don't want to miss this play. I don't want the play to come back in early. So what do you think, Roman? What's Astoria's thought here offensively? Are they looking to safe play, or are they looking to get the first down?
I think they're trying to ice it right here and get a first down. They're just trying to get a look at the Tillamook defense and see how they were going to set up.
So you're willing to throw the ball with an incomplete pass and stop the clock?
I am with this lead, yeah.
All right. And because the first down ends the game, and a turnover on downs with a stop clock is not, the odds are definitely in your favor if you're Astoria no matter what, right? So there's been a couple pivotal moments where plays had to be made, and Astoria has made every play that they've had to make, and Tillamook has not been able to execute in that same type of situation. And, when that happens, you're like, well, they got lucky. And you're like, well, no, maybe they're good. And Ian Hunt, heck of a wide receiver. He's made 3 huge plays in super timely moments in crucial downs. Same exact formation. Interesting. So they go with a bunch left and a bunch right. Single back in the backfield. It's going to be Williams. Nope. It's going to be, it's a punt. There we go. A little quick kick is what it is on 3rd down Oh, John Woodward is happy. Somewhere John Woodward and Phil Hankins are going, oh, yeah. And Rick Burton is going, God, I hate that play. Right? I was talking to Rick Burton last week sometime at 7th grade B volleyball. Let me tell you, Roman, what a treat that is. It's wonderful to see my daughter compete. Like, it's the first competition that she's taken. And I was talking to Rick about football, and he's like, he just hated when John Woodward would send in quick kick on 3rd and 12. And but Astoria was doing a kick on 3rd down, and it worked. Tillamook is pinned deep. It's going to be on the 9-yard line. Minute 31 left, down 13. Trips to the near side, single back on the top side of the formation, one back in the backfield. Matt's going to go drop back. He's looking to his right. He's going to run the football, and he's going to flip it out, and I guess that was backwards, as there was official looking at that, so I guess that was an option. It's going to be pick up of 2, and I don't think Tillamook has timeouts right now, and so they're going to have to pick up the sense of urgency as the rain continues to fall, and it's a little more serious. You can see it flying sideways now, and Tillamook is huddling, so they basically have given up the situation. They're not playing quick right here. They're in underneath a minute, down 13. And they recognize the situation. Draw play, Chris Silvera. Misses, dodges 1, dodges 2. Tries to fight through contact, falls forward to the 25-yard line, and is stopped there. The clock is going to stop momentarily with 45 seconds left in order to reset the chain. First down and 10 from the 25-yard line. Down 13, 25-12. Clock set and is now winding. Waiting for the snap, and there it is. Rolls to his left, throws with his right. Going to throw to Caleb Warner, and he drops it. 33 seconds left, down 13.
That last carry by Silvera put him over the century mark.
Nice. That's a good hard run. And Chris has only been on the running back for about, I think this is probably his 8th game as a running back. What are we? This is the 6th game. No, this is the 7th game he's played running back because he only got 1 game in last year. It was the very last game of the season that he played running back, and he had a lot of success there. So he's done a very good job of reacting back. So Luis Macias is going to step in the backfield. It's going to be 33 seconds left. Ball's in the air. It's a little underthrown, and coming back to break up the play is Olsen as Caleb Warner was set down about 10 yards downfield, and Olsen came back to get him. And ball was just too wet to throw well. And Matt doesn't have the rifle arm that like Tyler Hurleman had. Matt can put it where he wanted it to, where he wants it. Tyler couldn't necessarily put it where he wanted it, but he could throw it really hard. And if you could put the two together, you'd have a heck of a quarterback. Matt's going to flip the ball out to the flat to Chris. Chris is going to go across the 30, 35, and he's going to go out of bounds. They're going to mark him right at the first down. They're going to put it on the 35-yard line. 23 seconds left. And I think he got out. Yes, he did get out of bounds. So the clock's not going to wind once the chains are set. So it's 1st and 10, 35-yard line, down 13. Tillamook is just playing for pride right now. They're not playing for a win. I don't think there's any path forward to a W at this point. It's just a matter of what's the stats say, and is there a way of putting something on the board to close the gap. You're going to have a split and a slot on both sides, single back in the backfield. Caleb Boomer is on the near side. Matt's going to run the football as Landon wants it. He's going to throw it out. He's going to get tackled, dumped. Ball's going to be dropped, incomplete. No, they say he caught it. They say that, I don't know. Now they're going to stop the clock, and they're going to come over and talk about this, as there was no definitive signal from the near side official about whether that was a catch or not. I thought the ball was loose. They are going to say it's incomplete, and they should have stopped the clock. Now the question is, how much time are they going to put on it?
About 11 or 12 seconds.
They're going to go 14. So 14 seconds. I'm trying to get the ball in Caleb Boomer's hands. He's arguably your best athlete. I don't know. Chris Silvera, that's a tough one. I don't know which one I'd rather have to wrestle in a phone booth. It wouldn't be fun either way. Chris might start giggling. I think Caleb's the meaner one of the two. Chris is awfully nice. Caleb has had to fight for everything he has. They flip. The trips come to the wide side of the field. Kellen Shelley goes to the short side of the field. They're going to hand the ball off to Chris. Chris is going to wait for it. He's going to pick up a short gain. He's going to push down there. He's going to gain a 1, and I think that's going to be the end of the cunt. So Cheesemakers end up losing 25-12 to Astoria, and Astoria's homecoming. As the Fishermen are victorious at homecoming and have the inside track to the third-place football game, the third-place position in the Coapa League. We'll be back with the scoring summaries and game stats when we're back after this word from our sponsors. Welcome back to Sports Extra, brought to you by the Les Schwab Tire Center, the place to go for your tire care. The Tillamook Cheesemakers end up losing 25-12 to the Astoria Fishermen in a game where I think Astoria tonight, obvious statement, played the better football game. You know, they made the plays that needed to be made and didn't make the plays that didn't need to be made. And the Cheesemakers are not able to return the favor. Cheesemakers scored first. 9 minutes and 21 seconds left. Matt Silvera goes in from 8 yards out. The PAT was blocked, and that capped off a 50-yard, 6-play drive that took 3 minutes and 40 seconds left. And I thought, wow, Cheesemakers are going to be able to score points tonight because Astoria did not come out ready to play football. They came out flat, and Tillamook just took it right to them. 43 seconds left in the first quarter, and Astoria cut the lead in half with a 28-yard field goal by Poundberg. That was a must punt by Caleb Boomer that sort of set that play up. It was 6-3 at the end of one. Second quarter, right at the end of the first half, 48 seconds left, Williams, the quarterback, has a 1-yard rush. The PAT was good, and that was capped off an 85-yard, 10-play drive. And that was just a heartbreaker because Tillamook was down deep, couldn't execute, couldn't get the fourth down conversion, and Williams to Hunt on the 24-yard pass was a pivotal play to keep that drive going. And so the first half ended, and the Cheesemakers were down 10-6. Early in the fourth quarter, Karuna goes from 6 yards out, and that's a 7-play, 59-yard drive. And again, there's a 44-yard pass from Williams to Villa that maintained that drive, and that made the score 17-6. Tillamook then came right back with a kickoff return for Caleb Boomer. It went 78 yards. The two-point conversion was no good, and it was 17-12, and the Cheesemakers looked like they had some advantage, they had some energy, but they could never translate that into a sustained offensive drive. They had the opening drive that went for 50 yards, and they had a touchdown return. That was it. You know, and that does not make an offensive game. Astoria salted the game away. 3 minutes and 47 seconds left in the fourth quarter. Long goes from 3 yards out. The two-pointer was good by Williams, and that capped off a 10-play, 64-yard drive. And remember, that's where they had the two pass interference called. We had the fourth down stop, but the illegal procedure penalty against Astoria allowed the fourth down and 6 to go through, and the Cheesemakers end up losing 25-12. Pretty frustrating night for Kai Johnson and the coaching staff, as well as the teenage boys that played in a pretty good rainstorm all night long without much success. We're going to have stats and more after this word from the Les Schwab Tire Center. To Sports Extra, brought to you by the Les Schwab Tire Center, the place to go for your tire care. Tillamook Cheesemakers end up losing a pivotal football game, 25-12, to the Astoria Fishermen. This game, remember, gives them the inside track to the third-place position in the Coapa League and hosting a first-round playoff game, and the Cheesemakers just couldn't do it. Roman, you did a great job on stats today. For your first time, I'm really impressed, man. You got an opportunity to be like first-team All-State radio stats guy.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Not bad for the first time. I appreciate having me out here with you.
All right. So you did the stats. The numbers don't lie, do they?
No, they don't. I mean, Astoria put up, we're able to gain over almost 100 yards more than our Cheesemakers did, but we were able to carry the ball for 28 times for a total of 120 yards. We went 6 of 9 through the air for a total of 36 yards. Total yardage for 156. Chris Silvera did have a great game. He carried the ball 21 times for a total of 126 yards all on his own. On Astoria's side, they carried the ball 35 times for a total of 128 yards, went 7 of 11 through the air for 122 yards. They were able to pretty evenly split their passing and run attack. And like I said, they had almost 100 more yards than we did for a total of 250. They had a wide receiver, Hunt. He came up big with 3 clutch receptions for a total of 56 yards.
So the Cheesemakers end up getting fewer snaps off and end up not being able to make the big plays. And you're not going to win many games with 156 yards of offense, are you?
No, that's pretty tough to do. That's only 1.5 times up the field.
Yeah, there we go. And if you're going to try to get points on the board, you're going to have to play with either a super short field or you're going to have to do something better than that. We'll have the last word from the Sports Extra brought to you by the Les Schwab Tire Center after this word from Les Schwab Tire Center. Welcome back to Sports Extra, brought to you by the Les Schwab Tire Center, the place to go for your tire care. Tillamook Cheesemakers end up losing 25-12 tonight in Astoria in a frustrating football game during a rainstorm. But they're going to have to put that aside here in the next couple days because Valley Catholic is coming, we're going to Valley Catholic on Friday the 12th for a 7 o'clock broadcast, and that's going to be for 4th place. And Tillamook has, I think, lost the opportunity for a 3rd place game. So then now they're going to be playing for 4th place, and 4th place still probably is going to make the playoffs because my guess is Tillamook will be the best 4th place team in the one of the top 3 best 4th place teams in the state, and that will then put them in a position to play, but they're going to have to travel as the Cheesemakers were unable to seal the victory tonight against the Astoria Fishermen. Tillamook ends up losing 25-12 in a frustrating game. This has been Nathan Radcliffe and Roman Ballin, and good night and good sports. This has been a KTIL Sports presentation.